We didn't want the.
I mean, I don't know. You didn't want. I don't care.
Fine. You want to change it again? This better?
Look
You
at
like
it.
this? It's on your head. No. Get it in your own space. Share it with the duck.
I'm gonna do the stream like this the whole
Share
time.
it with the mallard. You wanted it? I don't even know how to go back to where we were. No, that's not it. Look what you've done. Look what you've done. Look what you caused.
We'll do this.
Get out of here.
We look like what's that show? That movie Stuck on You?
Oh yeah, but we are 100% we look like it. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best wrestling podcast around, hosted by Brady and Danielle, the Heel Mob.
From Brooklyn to your living room, it's the best podcast to listen to. Morning, even afternoon, here clever blonde girl and a Jew talk about wrestling. They do it 24/7, cause they love to speak on it every week. That's why they are best friends, and they're back once again for some wrestling talk. So sit back, relax, it's time for Heel Mob. They're not just smart, they're Heel Mob.
Ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends, we are back once again. I am the custodian of charisma. I am the ophthalmologist of optimism. She is the sultan of sarcasm and the sorceress of sass. I am the ghost. She is the coat. I am Brady. She is Danielle. Together, we are the best friends in all the land. Together, we are the Heel Marks. And we are coming to you. We're next to each other.
Yay!
We are actually together for this episode. Danielle just got back to New York this week from her Wrestlemania adventure. She's going to tell us all about it. We're going to talk about everything WrestleMania, everything NXT. The Wrestlemania Fallout is in full effect. New champions, newish superstars showing up. A whole lot to talk about.
So much to talk about.
Danielle, it feels weird. I'm like looking at you at the screen. Like
I'm looking at you too.
Yeah.
You know, if you just moved over a tad, we could all fit.
I can't move over a tad because I've got a puppy right here, which they can't see. Actually, no. Let's see if I can get rid of that. Hold on. I don't think I can.
Oh, look. See, you have all this space right here.
No, then I hide it. That comes up. I don't know how to get rid of that.
All right, whatever.
But anyway, Willow's, there's a puppy here.
Yeah.
So I don't have the space to move.
Fine. So, yeah, WrestleMania was exhausting and fun.
Of course.
It was a big, exciting weekend. I saw some people. I saw Queen of the Ring. I saw her. She's on, like, no sleep. I think she got, like, 3 hours of sleep that whole weekend.
She's working crazy.
Working crazy. I'm so proud of her. Yeah. It was really exciting. I went with our friend Deb. You know, keep Deb hydrated. Keep Deb hydrated. I did keep her hydrated.
You didn't keep yourself hydrated.
I did not keep myself hydrated. I tried and it did not succeed.
There needs to be mutual hydration. Deb should be keeping you hydrated.
I tried very hard and it was rough. I love Vegas. It was rough. It was a lot. We didn't do as many shows as we normally do. Like I remember, like we usually do like 12 shows.
But that's like always it's too much.
It's a lot.
Like eventually our brain will be fried and we'll realize it in the middle of a show.
Right.
And it's like, oh God.
We did 5 shows total from Thursday to Monday.
That includes the WrestleManias and the NXT.
Including the WrestleManias and the NXT. So we did one show Thursday night, which was Bloodsport. We did Joey Janela's Spring Break on Friday. And then we did NXT at 9:30 in the morning on Saturday. And then WrestleMania that night, which was at 3:30. The good thing about that, I will say, is it ends at 8 o'clock because it's a 3-hour difference. So WrestleMania ends at 8 o'clock, not midnight, you know?
Yeah, I actually thought that was like...
I like that.
That had to be cool.
Yeah.
Like, assuming you're not just completely tired because you've been
we were tired.
All day.
We weren't as bad.
But 8 o'clock's still kind of early where you could go out, have a drink. You could still just
we
live
gambled
Vegas
a little
up.
bit. Yeah. And we weren't, like, so exhausted. Because usually we would have crammed another show in there. You know us. Like,
right.
So our show started at 8 o'clock, I think, Thursday for Bloodsport. That started at 8 o'clock. And we were already up at, like, 5 in the morning to getting on our flight. So... that was a long day. Like, we were up almost 24 hours. Like, it was one of those moments where Deb was like, I don't know if I can go out after the show. And I was like, dude, we're not going out after the show. I was like, don't worry, it's okay. But it was a lot of fun. I miss going to indie shows a lot because, like, we don't have that many here anymore. Like the ones I really love, like Evolve was a big one that we used to go to all the time. Shine, even
Ring of
ROH,
Honor, yeah.
like so it was really fun. Bloodsport was interesting because I've never been to a show where it's just all basically technical wrestling. It's technical grappling. It's not really like high flying because there's no ropes.
Right.
There's no ropes, which I've seen a match like that, but I've never seen an entire show revolve around that. So it was really interesting to watch because it really shows people's capability of wrestling. And it's really fun to watch. And
Bloodsport's very cool.
It's
like
a very
the way
cool
it's been able to be presented as something like as its own.
Yes.
And it's rare to do that in an industry that's been around as long as professional wrestling.
Right.
Like you've seen so many different variations of things, but they have created their own thing. Obviously, all I saw was online, but seeing Killer Cross, rather.
They called him, he announced him as Killer Cross, which I thought was really awesome. I think he came out as Kyrian Cross, but the ring announcer did announce him as Killer Cross. Did it say it underneath?
The taper said Carrion
Cross.
Oh,
it said Carrion. Yeah, but he introduced him as Killer Cross.
And then while we're talking about Killer Cross, and unfortunately we'll only have a little bit of a reason to talk about him WrestleMania related.
Right.
So real quick, let's talk about the kind of shoot-ish promo he cut in like that Sam Roberts interview.
Yeah.
And the brilliance of it is that when he starts off and he's just rage, you know, he sits down just pissed. Like he's giving Sam Roberts shit, like he's coming in hot.
Coming in super hot.
And then like in the beginning he's talking about storyline stuff. You know, are you happy AJ lost? Are you happy? Blah, blah, blah. But then he talks about real shit. And at the end of it, point of me bringing it up is he says, here's a message from Killer Cross.
Yo, what's really great about him is I know when they were trying to push him in NXT, it was kind of falling flat a little bit.
Well,
and then he got hurt, right? If I remember correctly.
No,
his
NXT push was a smashing success. He was the champ. Everyone loved him. In fact, in an interview he did recently, he was talking about how good it feels that people are talking to him about how AJ, he liked his program with AJ and he liked his match and he's happy about the work. It's not an interview, actually. It's the documentary, that Matt Cardona's videographer did for him with GCW. But he spoke about how for the past, years, all people would talk to him about was his NXT run because it was the top that they saw him. It was the last time they saw him be used and get the strap.
And then they
be used in a positive way. So now he's kind of got a resurgence that's not been manufactured by WWE or even barely assisted by WWE.
Right.
Is this mine?
No.
Is this mine?
Yep.
Okay. It's barely been assisted by WWE. It's really just, and it's weird because in my mind, it happened right after AOP got released. And
kind of, I would say that because they tried to put them with AOP and it wasn't working, and it sucked because like we watched him when it was still Impact, like we watched Killer Cross and we liked Killer Cross a lot. I know you have a little gripe with him because he pretended to be a bald man.
He had me fooled.
He had you the trickery. You were bamboozled, hoodwinked. You were hoodwinked by him, and he has this.
And I hate being hoodwinked. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that. Who does like being hoodwinked? But I love what he's doing. And he seems like the more invested it's been this like Papa H run is you really see that this guy is a guy that's really loved by the people he works with and like very respected. Even in Bloodsport, right before Bloodsport went on, they were all facing the camera and he like cut a promo saying how thankful he is to be here. And he did like all this wonderful stuff. And you could just tell like, even though he is a WWE talent there is a line of respect for him there. Yeah. And like, it was so nice to see how over he was during his match.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because he was a WWE talent. It was because people love him.
It reminded me of when we were at GCW in Hammerstein watching
Tom Pescock.
Well, what's his new? It's Bishop Dyer.
Yeah, but he wasn't Bishop Dyer then. He was still Tom.
Right.
Like Baron Corbin is.
Right. Exactly.
For people that don't know that.
Seeing him get the great response at GCW, we're like, yo, I'm so happy that he's been accepted the way he has. Same with Killer Cross, Karrion Kross. And to go back to the shoot promo he cut, like he was spitting real shit about the fact where he says, and then he's essentially saying, I'm talking to the guy in the truck in the suit
Right.
If that's Triple H, if it's not, he's certainly allowing us to let our mind wander. He's certainly allowing us to think, hey, who could this guy be
Right.
that has all this power and decision making? But when he's saying, I didn't ask to wrestle Randy. I never asked for it. They asked for it. It happened organically, and you ignored it for a viral moment. And nothing against Joe. I take nothing from him. But you ignored it.
Yeah.
And then...
Because that was pretty much the first one that everyone was thinking of. Besides, I think Nick Aldis was a little bit there too.
Well, it's also a thing where before that, and I don't know if they're still doing it, we haven't really heard the murmurs, but that might be strategy. But if you go back a month, maybe two, when Dominic first started talking about who we want a new member.
Right.
A lot of us, I 100% remember saying it real quick. Somebody asked me
100%.
live, and I was like, oh, Karrion Kross would make sense. And then naturally and organically, other wrestling fans start coming to the same conclusion, where all of a sudden, throughout next week or two, everyone's like, oh, Karrion Kross. Because once again, and this was right around the time AOP had just gotten released.
Right.
He's left without a stable again, but he had been doing great work with New Day, with Sammy, everything.
Right. I think that was when you were like, Danielle, if you had to pick somebody, who would it be? And when I said Karrion Kross, you were like, no, that's my pick.
I was like, damn it, I didn't think you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I was asking so I could surprise you with him.
Oh, best friends.
But yeah, so that's another thing. And once again, we've kind of seen, we don't know if there's a new member or not, but either way, I'd be very surprised if it was Kross, because they've kept him involved with other things.
Yeah.
Whether it's the AJ feud, whether it's the thing with Sammy.
They kind of just keep him in the loop, and they keep him.
He's the devil on everyone's shoulder.
I should say he's keeping himself relevant. I don't want to say they are.
Right.
He's keeping himself relevant.
100%.
And he's killing it. It was funny too at the show. There's like box seats, because it's a theater essentially. Right. So in the box seats on the right are all like talents, like significant others or friends and stuff. So like Scarlett was there. I'm pretty sure Bailey was there for Shayna.
Bailey was there for Natty also.
Oh, and Natty. Like there was a bunch of people.
A lot of them.
Right, a lot of the NXT
Liv was
people.
There,
Liv was there.
Nia was
Cora
there.
Jade was there.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Cora Jade. Like a bunch of those women were there.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see like Scarlett.
Paul Walter Hauser.
Yeah, Paul Walter Hauser. Yeah.
He was there.
So like there was a guy next to me and he kept zooming in on all of them. And Deb was like, "What is he zooming?" I'm like, "Well, there's NXT talent up there." I was like, "There's WWE people up there," because like I was like, obviously Scarlett's up there for Killer Kross.
Right.
It was a really interesting to watch. Like I said, without the ropes, like it's a really interesting, fun way of watching it. And I think if you're not that into wrestling, it's hard to follow. I don't want to say hard to follow, but technical wrestling is very quiet. Like, no, there's not these big moments like high flying stuff where you're like, oh shit. There's still like, oh shits when they're hitting hard, because they hit hard and stuff like that. So it's really interesting to watch, because it's almost like a respect level where everyone's quiet because they're trying to watch. And
like Japan.
Kind of like Japan, yeah. So that was a really fun match to watch. Natty's the reception she got, I was surprised, because I
love the new nickname, the Low Key Legend.
I loved it.
I love
she
that.
came in with like her little intro, and then it was mixed with Killing in the Name.
Yeah, that was great.
That was fucking so good. She came in with such fire, and she was just beating the shit out of her opponent. She was like giving her the finger, and I remember people were tweeting or posting and being like, "Where was this Natty in WWE?" I'm like, they would never let her do that.
Right, and that's what's frustrating. And then it's when you see Triple H allowing talent like Shayna, like Kross, like Natty to go and do these matches. There was a lot of NXT.
There was a lot of WWE.
When Triple H sends Omos over to Japan and he becomes the Noah Tag Team Champion and does an awesome job, and then they have him come back for no reason, so he cannot use them, you're kind of like, okay, wait a minute. Like, eventually it gets to a thing where you know what certain people are capable of,
like, what are you doing?
You choose not to, like, for certain points. Like, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, and we will get to it in full. But if you look at the tag team match that just happened on SmackDown, the TLC match.
That match should have been at WrestleMania.
Right.
100%.
And like, don't tell me you didn't know these guys could do this. Don't tell me you didn't know you were setting them up to give us a banger. And don't get me wrong. I understand that if it was a WrestleMania, they would not have gotten 30 minutes.
Right.
They got 30 minutes, no commercials.
And also, we also understand that because New Day is our vets, like, you wanted to put a spot with them at WrestleMania. Like, we get it.
Right.
But, like, if I had to pick between the two tag titles, like, that was the one I would have picked for WrestleMania, not the New Day and the War Raiders.
And it's one of those things where if you're committing to New Day War Raiders because of the respect level for New Day, or because you feel like the War Raiders have earned it, or you just want to get them on, or just even because I remember last time I said I thought maybe they did it simply because SmackDown kind of, because remember they had an original tag team match that got us to this one.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, SmackDown's a part of WrestleMania weekend. Raw is separate, so they'll give the Raw Tag Team Championships there. But it's one of those things where then you should have making that program like a winner, like a talking point. Like
100%.
it was easily the match that people cared the least about from the entire weekend. 3 shows, NXT and both nights of WrestleMania.
Being there, I could tell you that was definitely, and I hate using the term, but that was the pee break.
Right.
And I love all 4 of the men in that ring. Like, I love the War Raiders, and I'm happy they were tag champions, and I love New Day, and I love this heel gimmick of New Day. But, like...
It wasn't a real feud.
It wasn't a real feud. It was kind of just jammed at us.
New Day had been doing their random thing, popping in, popping out, doing something, doing nothing. And then eventually, like over the last month, almost as if WWE just randomly decided, oh yeah, let's get New Day at WrestleMania.
It was kind of...
Then they're just talking to Pierce. We need tag
that
team
was
title
definitely
shots.
the match that like people were like, oh, I'll go get food. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to do this.
And then also, even if the story was better, let's be real. A standard 2-on-2 tag match compared to a TLC match with 3 teams the caliber of Street Profits, DIY, and Motor City Machine Guns.
Correct. Like, the Motor City Machine Guns are finally in WWE and they don't get a WrestleMania moment.
Right.
Like, that's bonkers to me.
Right. And
they're not on the card for WrestleMania. That's weird to me.
But it's one of those things where with this match, you also like the storytelling for this feud, the work that all the tag teams have been doing to keep that division so exciting and so fresh with like it. I could be wrong. Maybe it bleeds into 2024, but I feel like within 2025, we've seen Motor City Machine Guns as champs, DIY as champs, and now Street Profits as champs.
Yes.
So I believe all 3 of these teams
I'm pretty sure within
had traded the belts without it necessarily feeling like, you know, like an eye roll. Oh, they just keep handing the belts. Like, no, they did.
They're going after each other, and they're like, no, this is my title shot. And they want to. It's not even that they want to take the titles just to have the titles. They want to take the titles from the tag team that currently had them. There's like it's almost like a blood feud. Almost like they're all against each other.
And all 3 had a chip on their shoulder. All 3 were out to prove. And Angelo Dawkins said it in a post show interview about how we gave everyone a reason to say we should have put them on Mania. That leaving them off Mania was a mistake. But it's okay because we got these. We the best tag team and we showed them. So they absolutely all 3 teams showed why they deserved a Mania spot.
100%. I want to just go back to Bloodsport and then we'll move on.
Of course.
The match of the night, it was the match of the weekend until I got to NXT Stand and Deliver. But I will say Jonathan Grisham and Zack Sabre Jr. fucking killed it. Like, this match, like, if anybody has a time and finds it somewhere, please watch this match. Because, like, Jonathan Grisham is very short and stacked, and Zack Sabre Jr. is tall and thin, and they were just knocking each other off. Like, they just kept knocking each other out of the ring. And, like, I think the rules with that is you get a certain amount of count, and then, like, you're automatically, I forgot the count. I think it's 20. But, like, they were so hard-hitting, and, like, there was so much offense going back and forth and so much defense. Like, at one point, Zack Sabre Jr. kicked Jonathan Grisham out of the ring that I thought he snapped his neck. Like, he literally went back straight like that out of the ring. Like, it was such a phenomenal match. And, like, our friend Deb is, like, obsessed with Zack Sabre Jr., so we got to, she was, like, waiting for that match. And I was like, this match did not disappoint. It was hard-hitting. It was technical. Because, you know, he's a technical master. And so is Jonathan Grisham. People don't give Jonathan Grisham enough credit, in my opinion.
Not nearly
He's
enough.
so fucking good.
He's a beast.
He's a beast. It was one of my favorite matches, obviously, until we got to Stand and Deliver. And then we got to see Zack Sabre Jr. again for Joey Janela's spring break. So Deb was very happy we got to see him 2 days in a row. And he was wearing orange, which is her favorite color. So she was very excited that he was wearing her favorite color.
It was meant to be.
Joey Janela's was a little, for, you know, pun intended, clusterfucky. It was a little all over the place. It was fun. The main event match was Sabu versus Joey Janela, and the rope was barbed wire. And there was barbed wire, like, things everywhere. Sabu got caught very early in a barbed wire. I don't know if he was supposed to.
Yeah.
But he did.
The clips I saw,
Yeah.
that whole thing looked like chaos.
It was chaos. It was very sloppy and chaotic, but fun and chaotic. And then like it was very funny because I messaged you and I said, Brady, how long do you think this match is going to be? And you were like, 17 minutes. I said, okay, I'm going to time it. 17 minutes on the nose.
On the dot.
On the dot. I literally was like, 17 minutes on the nose.
And I sent you that text back so fast. Like, I was just kind of like, let's see.
Yeah, you were just like 17 minutes.
Boom.
And I mean, 5 minutes of it was Sandman coming and walking around pouring beer in everybody's mouth.
See,
but
in my head, 5 minutes was going to be spent on like one of them or both of them like bleeding or like
And
getting
being
caught
caught
in
and
barbed
having-
wire.
yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
right. So I'm like, there's going to be a lot of just
So it wasn't necessarily a
bloody
good
men.
match. It was just messy. Like, it
Right.
was just all over the place. But it was fun. I love Joey Janela. I think Joey Janela is a gem when it comes to the indie scene. I think he gives so many people opportunities. I feel like because of Joey Janela, we saw MJF. Because of MJF, we really got to see Ethan Page a lot to shine. Not taking away from Evolve, but like, you remember that thing with him and Joey, with Ethan Page, where if Ethan Page lost, he had to book the clusterfuck. So like, I feel like Joey Janela gives so many wrestlers opportunities from his indie shows that like I really respect.
Yeah,
Joey
he doesn't
Janela in
get
that
he
stuff.
doesn't get his flowers nearly as much.
I think he does. I think he's wonderful for the independent community. Like
yeah, and
indies,
has been for
forever.
Really
He
long
always
time.
gives people shots. He always will put his body on the line first to
Yeah.
get somebody over. Like, okay, maybe he'll win, but he made someone else look like a fucking star. And even after, he'll always get on the mic and give like he
Was
gave.
it that show, the Brody Jr.?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
No, that was the clusterfuck. The clusterfuck
Right.
was its own show.
Oh,
That was
interesting.
after Mania on. Was that after Mania on Saturday, or it was the show after that? We were so
Okay.
tired. Like at Thursday, we were up 24 hours.
Right.
Like we were like, we gotta go to bed. Like I was like, it's okay. I was like, it's fine, because I didn't want to overexert ourselves either, because like,
Right.
we had so much to do. Saturday was the rough day. But yeah, but then we went into NXT. I will say, going into NXT at 9:30 in the morning, the first like the pre-show match, like you could tell people were tired. Like it's 9:30 in the morning. We're trying to get excited.
So hold on. Do me a
Yeah.
quick favor though. I do want you to save your NXT live viewpoints
Sure.
for when we get to NXT.
Oh, I thought we were at NXT. My
No, right now I want to
Okay.
talk. I want to get right into the nitty gritty,
bad. Okay.
the meat and potatoes from WrestleMania and the Fallout. I
100%,
want to
let's
get
do it.
into what everyone's talking about. So let's get into
Okay.
the way WrestleMania Night 2 closed. People not happy with this.
Right.
To set the table real quick for my viewing experience, not at the show, I was watching with my two roommates who were not wrestling fans. I actually been watching with another friend who's also not a wrestling fan, came back and watched the main event with my roommates. Literally told them what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I told them this match was going to be slow and they probably weren't going to enjoy the beginning of it, but I told them it was being done deliberately to kind of, reel the crowd in. I'm like, and eventually my roommates were like, this kind of sucks. Why is nothing happening? I'm like, they're doing it on purpose. They want to toy with you. I was wrong. It just wasn't that good.
I think they wanted it where John Cena was like, I'm ruining wrestling. So
Right.
I'm gonna make it. But also like, yeah, you're ruining wrestling, but now I'm bored.
Yeah.
And it's like, I will say, I'm gonna give kudos to myself before we start getting into the nitty gritty. John Cena coming out with just a black screen and white lettering and a black shirt,
You
like
called
I
it.
said.
You
I was
called
like,
it.
he's not coming out as Fruity Pebbles. This man is coming out in just black.
Right.
I was like, nothing's gonna pop.
No,
He's gonna be serious.
yeah.
I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I will say that match was very wonky. There was a lot of missed.
Well, then I also explained. I was like, and also another thing is like, this match is gonna be like whatever happens here really doesn't matter, because the truth is this match is all about setting up to the finish, and the
Right.
finish is gonna be. And I told him, I'm like, Travis Scott's gonna come out. He's gonna do some shit, and then probably The Rock will come out too, and that'll be the big ending.
I will say, I feel like maybe they should have like powwowed a little bit better for Travis Scott coming out. I didn't want Travis Scott to come out. He came out he was doing a Randy Orton entrance. He was coming out way too slow and taking his sweet time. But I will say, why are you coming out when John Cena's already winning?
The fact that
That was
the fact
weird.
that John Cena had the advantage at that moment, like he was kind of in a power position ish.
Right, that was weird.
And so the timing of that was weird. And then Cena looking so cocky, you almost like thought, oh shit, did The Rock send Travis to turn on Cena? Is he done with him?
Right.
Did Cody sell his soul? Are we getting a double turn?
Right.
And you're kind of thinking, but then no, it's just Travis Scott setting up to get a crossroads from Cody.
But then also, like, Why wouldn't Cody just let Travis hit him and then he would have got disqualified? And then
Cody's not thinking like
so
that.
he should have.
Cody was
I
full
like,
of
"This is
rage.
sloppy."
He was like,
He
"You
wasn't
think I
rage.
forgot? You gave me a
wasn't
black eye."
I have to say, no matter how many times I see it, I do not like the Crossroads. It is not a fun finisher for me. Every time I watch it, I'm just like,
I don't mind it.
I'm not a big
I
fan of
hate
it.
that Trinity Crossroads, the 3 he does.
Oh, I don't like that one either. Yeah.
I don't mind the Crossroads. He's hit some good ones.
I mean, I think, you know what happened too with this match? I mean, we almost likely, even though I predicted Cody to win, like obviously as the show was progressing, I'm like, Cena's winning. Like this is just going to be a thing. It's going to be exciting. The crowd was very mixed. And I'm not saying nobody was booing Cody, but there was let's go Cena, Cena sucks. It was very pretty. That was most of the chance. There was no Cody chance. The
post-show crowd was booing Cody, and the Raw crowd was booing Cody for no reason.
So right. The Raw crowd was insane. But I will say, I feel like because night 2 was so strong compared to night 1, that the ending was just like plop.
Right.
Like it was just a fizzle.
We were talking about this recently because AEW is regularly guilty of this, where great show.
Which show just happened?
I forget the names.
But their PLE just happened, and it was a great show the entire time until that ending when they didn't let Sorb win.
Right. Bad finish. And it's all about how you finish. It's all about how you finish.
In all aspects of life, it's all about how you finish.
Exactly.
All of it. So like the fact that like they kept like edging us and then just like stopped and went to the bathroom.
Right.
Like
exactly.
What about me?
And
like,
so now to this point, and I was doing a Raw watch along and somebody asked me about it, and it was fresh. It had just happened.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm like, I even told them, tune in this weekend because I got my tinfoil hat on for Danielle.
Love tinfoil hats.
Now, granted, by now, we're a week removed practically, and this is not going to be a hot take because you've heard it already before, listeners. But my conspiracy theory, and it's not crazy, Rock and Triple H, they don't fuck with each other, and something happened. Something happened. Yeah. This whole thing, and I said this before, The Rock showed up randomly on Pat McAfee's show when he was not previously advertised, just popped up Tuesday morning. I said it before Triple H was like kind of like giving his weird explanations of like, oh, like, and then we see clips like, no. The fact of the matter is, The Rock did not tweet anything about WrestleMania, not the entire weekend. Also, for anyone to tell me that it's normal for The Rock to just be home watching, no, that's not normal. The Rock wouldn't.
The Rock has come out with a fucking flamethrower for no fucking reason and just was like, for no reason, just to be on WrestleMania.
I mean, TKO gave him like $30 million. He's on the board. He's the final boss. Like, it's not like this is just a normal show. This is WrestleMania.
And
this is what you build up to.
And I never thought I would say this, but I think if The Rock came out, that would have saved the main event.
Well, no, because they chose to build to this match, starting with The Rock.
With him with John Cena selling his soul to The Rock, and that was a big thing.
And then with The Rock disappearing, because that's what Rock does, we're all saying, oh, well, he's gone because they want to surprise us when he pops up again at WrestleMania. So Rock.
Right.
So, like, something happened, and I don't know what it is, but Rock, I think, under normal circumstances, would be there no matter what, but especially with Stone Cold and Bret Hart receiving their award or their induction. Bret mentioned that he's the first wrestler with 3 rings, so they did get additional rings for their induction, so just as impactful as any past induction, you'd think The Rock would be there for them, considering the respect he has for both men, how close he is, or at least was, with Steve, and they work together.
Right.
Also, key point to pay attention to, Triple H, and I don't know if there is a Guinness World Record, but I'm sure he broke it with his over an hour Hall of Fame speech. This man thanked everybody he damn near wrestled ever in his career. He thanked wrestlers repeatedly. He thanked them all. He thanked the people that he works with backstage, people in the back office. The Rock fits in both of those categories. Yep. He did not mention this man once. Not once.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, it was weird. So there has to be some. There's something rotten in the state of Delaware.
Like something's up, and then even with The Rock coming out and then kind of trying to scapegoat the company on Tuesday on Pat McAfee's show, it is so bizarre too. Where he's basically like, oh yeah, they called me because Elimination Chamber tickets were low, so they wanted me to boost it. So there was no plan. I popped in to do that, but then I said, all right, guys, I set you up. Now you guys are on your own. And it's like,
No.
That sounds stupid. That barely sounds like it would be your idea just for no reason. And also, that doesn't even sound like a good idea. Like, you're telling me what you've said to Triple H or whoever you're talking to, but why don't you tell me what they said back? Because under no circumstances does making you the focal point of the segment that starts this whole shit, having you set the table for, I want you to be my champion, I want your soul.
Right.
And then Cena seemingly takes your offer,
right,
sells his soul to you, and now becomes champion. He's not your champion?
Yeah, it makes no sense. No fucking sense.
No, nothing about it makes sense. Yeah. And as I said,
and it showed in that main event.
Right. Something happened. This was not the plan. Travis Scott was fucking roped in because he was involved with the Rock thing. Whether that's just because Travis Scott and WWE are working together, we've seen him come into Jey Uso's entrances. There's certainly a partnership with his music. Or if that was just something the Rock thought of last minute, like, hey, Travis, you come and punch Cody in the face. It'll be a cool moment.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So weird.
But it almost felt like it reminded me of, obviously very different, but when Shane McMahon injured himself, wrestling Miz, and Snoop Dogg randomly had to come in and take care of business.
It wasn't bad.
In that moment,
he tried.
It was fucking Snoop Dogg hitting a people's elbow. Looked ridiculous. It was fantastic. Are you kidding me? Top 10 WrestleMania moment, easy.
Top tier.
But it was clear, like, okay, well, this can't happen. So Snoop, you got to step in. I feel like Travis Scott might have been involved even if The Rock was going to do something, but it wouldn't have been like this. The long-ass entrance, Travis Scott, where we're scratching our head, why is this happening? Because that was going to be The Rock's long-ass entrance, which would have made sense if it was The Rock.
The Rock.
Exactly. So I think for the most part, Travis had to play fill-in here.
Yeah. And
not an easy role. And it was faulty booking. And as I said, I think it was beyond their control because of whatever happened between Triple H and The Rock. These men never liked each other when they started. Triple H is like it's notoriously known that Triple H tried. I think I'm forgetting a story. If it was, I think Mark Henry found out they did something to The Rock and then told him and was like,
I thought it was HBK.
No, HBK I thought was like,
who was the one? Remember on Young Rock, he insinuates that someone tried to mess with him. Tried to get him in trouble.
I remember that, but I always thought that was Shawn and Triple H.
Oh, probably.
I mean, the streets talk about it as if back then they were both very threatened by a young Rock coming in, immediately winning the title, second generation. Right. And this was, second generations weren't born on trees back then. Now they're all over the place. But yeah, it's one of those things where no one will convince me I'm wrong about this. And I don't think we'll ever find out the truth.
Not.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever actually find out what happened.
Yeah.
But something happened, and yeah.
And it kind of disappointed the fans in a way. Not the outcome. It was more so the match that up to that point, this was being a great WrestleMania. Yeah. Especially night 2. Night 2 was the women came into night 2 follow that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was really it was just such good. The pacing was great.
You're talking about the triple threat.
I'm talking about the triple threat.
Match of the weekend.
Second.
Okay.
Well, I guess
here's the funny thing, because if you're saying second or third, and maybe I'm wrong, but I gotta feel like you're only you're talking about triple threats or triple threat or
Can
triple
you
threat.
believe I'm talking about triple threat?
Yeah.
I know.
Top 3 matches of the weekend are all triple threats.
Well, my top 3, one of them's Jonathan Gresham and Zack Sabre Jr. are definitely.
Okay, well, I'm talking strictly WrestleMania weekend, NXT,
WrestleMania
and WrestleMania.
Okay, yeah, this was my match of. This was probably my number 2 or 3. I have to think really about the other one, but I know my number 1. We'll get to that. But this
I feel like your number 1 is probably the match of the night, but this was the best match of the night, if that makes sense.
Maybe. We'll get to that. Anyway. But this match was so good. I will say, I know we talked about this. I hate when the champions don't come in last. They should come.
They did this repeatedly. This wrestling. I don't know what's going on.
Repeatedly. I mean, I understand people love mommy. I know they love.
In my head, it just had to be something to do with
Rhea's entrance wasn't that phenomenal.
Yeah, and Charlotte's wasn't that crazy
she just
either.
came out of a car.
Yeah, so I mean, in
my mind, was awesome.
Right. So in my mind, I was trying to think like
the only thing I could think with Tiffy's is because they had to set up the boxes. Maybe they had that, and then they had to transit.
And it was just easier to do that first than
and then
second.
transit, and then take them off really quick.
Maybe
while she was coming. Maybe, I don't know. But this match was definitely amazing. I also noticed throughout WrestleMania a lot of people wearing white. Dom was wearing white.
Right.
Io was wearing white. Seth was wearing white.
Was Liv? No, Liv was wearing red.
Liv was wearing red. AJ Styles was wearing white. There was a few, like, I kept naming them. I was like, white, white, white. Everybody's wearing white. I would never wear white if you even.
Not supposed to wear white after Labor Day.
Like, white's, well, it's not Labor Day yet.
It's always after Labor Day until Labor Day happens.
That's not how it works. But yeah, 100%. This match was absolutely amazing. The storytelling in this match was so flawless. It's like, obviously Bianca and Rhea are going to be the demise.
You said it right.
I know, but I don't call it by her last name. That was weird.
Fair enough.
We're going to be the demise of each other, and Io was going to capitalize, but Io wasn't going to take shit. Io did not look like a chump in this match.
No.
Like, she fucking killed it.
Io was the standout. Like, this match was very much like the story was that Bianca, Rhea, and as a result, everybody else is overlooking Io. So this story, this match was very much built around her shining. This was her crowning moment.
So good.
And Bianca and Rhea were so happy to do this.
Oh, 100%.
Like
100%. Because people have been dying for that Rhea and Bianca match, and it's like, nope, let's insert Io here so Io can beat the shit out of both of you.
But like,
show.
Io
but
also deserves to be like placed. Like, she deserves to be in the same conversation that Rhea and Bianca is, and Rhea and Bianca have inserted themselves in the same conversation that Becky and Charlotte is, and Bayley is there as far as I'm concerned as well.
This was definitely a great storytelling in the aspect, like, Rhea and Bianca kept foiling each other. Every time there was a moment to get tapped, every time there was a moment to pin, they kept fucking each other up and kept ruining each other's moments, and Io was able to capitalize. And it's not saying that Io couldn't stand on her own, because Io got licks in too, like hard licks. And Io is fantastic. Anybody who looks over Io is wild, because she is so friggin' talented.
Yeah.
I love Mommy, but like,
I do worry that now with her being champ, that means the end of Damage Control.
Maybe.
Like, and don't get me wrong, right now, Kairi Sane is still hurt. I think she's coming back soon, but she's hurt. Asuka, I believe, is still on the shelf and also dealing with a random stalking. Yeah, exactly. But when I say I think it's the end of Damage Control, I think Dakota will probably turn on Io soon.
I can see that.
Because as you said, most likely Rhea and Bianca will probably
continue their feud.
But I don't know if they're going to continue immediately, because that seems more like a SummerSlam match than a Backlash match.
Yeah, definitely.
And Bianca kind of mentioned on SmackDown, talking about getting back to SmackDown, and that she has some drama waiting for her in terms of Jade and Naomi in that fallout. So maybe Bianca and Rhea hit pause while still kind of taking jabs at each other on TV, and then via the draft, they get on the same show, and we get the SummerSlam match possibly.
The draft is so stupid.
Yeah, the draft is stupid, and the fact that like we know it just kind of looms over us because we know it's coming. So it's like Raw after Mania and SmackDown after Mania. Yeah, they're big, but at the same time, I feel like they didn't really press start on anything yet.
Right.
And we don't know if they're waiting for the draft or if maybe they just want to don't give you everything at once.
Right. But what a great match.
Fantastic match.
What is it called? The barn burner?
Barn burner. Burn the barn down.
Burn it down.
And speaking of burning it down.
Burn it down.
Is this your match of the weekend?
No.
NXT Triple Threat? Good for you. 100%. Good on you. All right. 100%. Good on you.
100%. We'll get into that. I can't wait, especially being there live.
Yeah. No, it was perfect.
We'll get into it.
And to be honest, backtracking just a smidge in terms of why the Tag Team Championship match might not have been on WrestleMania. How many Triple Threat matches can you give us?
And you know how much I hate them.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think a Triple Threat TLC kind of, that's not your standard Triple Threat. Any of your complaints about a Triple Threat rule would certainly not apply to a TLC match with 6 guys, 6 people rather. Right. I would love to see a women's tag team TLC match.
I would say NXT Triple Threat wasn't even a Triple Threat. That was a 4-way.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this match was everything and more. This match definitely picked up the crowd because the first night was.
I'll be honest with you. This match should have been the night 2 closer.
100%. If this was the night 2 match, it would have been a perfect WrestleMania night.
Everyone, the reception to WrestleMania would have been significantly different.
Yeah. So
had this close.
I will tell you, night 1, the people next to me and a couple of people around me, they disappeared after. What was the opener for this? Oh, Uso. They disappeared after Jey Uso won. They disappeared and they didn't come back till like the match before this. Like they were gone the entire time.
Maybe they were at the bar, or did they come back drunk?
I mean, they were drunk already, but like they like left, and I'm like, so
maybe they have friends with.
Well, I mean, they were also cosplaying, so like they might have got stopped to take pictures. But at the same time, it's like I don't know. There's some matches on here I do want to see. So like
maybe they went to the bar and were like, honestly, we were just watching the screen in our seat. Might as well watch this screen. And it was funny because I'm sure people know this. The guy sitting next to me, he came over and sat next to me, and he was wearing the same exact Shawn Michaels cosplay outfit as me. Yeah.
The same jacket and everything.
That picture is so epic.
I was like, people are going to think we're together. I was like, dude, I have to take a picture and send this to my friend Brady. I was like, this is very important. And then when HBK came out, we all were like, ah, like screaming and going crazy. It was a lot of fun. But this match was so well done. It was so well orchestrated. I tell people all the time, wrestling, it's not just about the wrestling, it's about the storytelling. And the storytelling in this, was it predictable? Sure. But it was still beautiful.
I mean, it was predictable in that I predicted it. It did feel, and this is obviously you know better than me because I wasn't there, but from watching, the crowd reaction did feel there was a bit of shock in there.
It was very much like people were like, he's gonna turn, he's gonna hit, he's gonna hit Roman, he's gonna hit. It was a very
that's because the way Paul did it, and I understand you kind of have to. But like the way he was kind of like walking, punk, and you're like, okay, well, obviously he's gonna do it. And then as he's so obviously setting Roman up for, and he's like, do it, my tribal chief, and setting himself up, putting his arms. It's like, okay, obviously.
So we all knew it was coming, but it's still a mind blowing moment that you're actually seeing it.
And then and Pat McAfee was making fun of it on his show, but I loved that Paul for Roman was swinging it around.
Yeah, because he was mad,
banging that thing around.
One of my favorite memes is all these men are married to hot women and they're fighting over a short, fat, bald man.
he tweeted, I'm the baddie, like
right.
I'm the baddie everyone wants.
Yeah. It was really done beautifully, and Paul Heyman is just so good at what he does. Like Paul Heyman, you're just like, what's that? And then the whole thing, like Seth coming out in the black and then transforming his glasses being the crown of thorns. You're like, what is this? Our savior? Is this our Messiah? Like, it's like, what's happening here? And
leading into this, his outfits had been fairly muted, like in terms like dark colors, one color, which is very, a vest and pants type of thing. And I still don't exactly know what symbolism it played or whatever, but I know that like there was something there. Exactly.
Yeah.
And granted, people are kind of already complaining that when he came out on Raw, he wasn't completely different. But it's not supposed to happen immediately. And Paul Heyman said it in his interview where he said, fact of the matter is, August 2020, Roman Reigns was already however many time champion, had already main evented WrestleMania how many times. He'd done this, he'd done that. He was one of the biggest stars in the business. You cannot debate it. But then he sat on a couch next to Paul Heyman, and the tribal chief was born. And tell me who remembers the big dog now. And it's 100% right. And he said that this is the exact position Seth Rollins is in now. Seth Rollins has main evented WrestleMania how many times? Seth Rollins has won the championship how many times? He's had stables. He's had tag teams. He has had everything you need to have a Hall of Fame career, yet here we are, new book, brand new book, and it starts with the chapter titled Paul Heyman. Second chapter, Braun fucking Breaker.
That was fucking wild. That was what, but also, do you remember Paul Heyman? I think it was a couple of years ago. He tried to like draft him. Remember?
Well, last year. He was still very much the tribal chief. I think it was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years
Braun
ago.
Was still very NXT, and I think it was before him and
Paul was trying.
I think it was before him and Corbin paired up. So it was like
that was fun.
Yeah, I miss the Wolf Dogs. I really do miss them.
Yeah,
In fact, I actually said it when I was doing the Raw Watch Along.
I know I heard you. Yeah.
During Braun Breaker, I'm like, if I'm there, and I don't think I don't think Bishop is doing this.
No.
But there's a place for this, depending on what Paul Heyman's opinions are of Bishop Dyer, the former Baron Corbin. I certainly think there's a spot for him. And I think that's something interesting about this, because for me, this is huge. This is holy shit, Braun Breaker has Paul Heyman by his side. Like, we really do have the next big thing again.
Right.
Also, Seth Rollins is at the head of another stable, but I mean, I feel like for this to be successful, and obviously people are already talking about it, there's people like, we see Braun Breaker paired with Paul, and then they're always like, okay, but who's the next member? Who's the tag team going to be? Who's this? If there should be a woman, right? Who's going to be the woman?
It's exciting.
Speaking of, I want to get this out of the way real quick, and we'll talk about this a little bit as well. I think there's only one selection for this. Now, everyone's going to say Becky.
Because she just turned heel.
Right. And, of course, she's married to Seth. And, of course, Paul Heyman would be a fool not to want to.
Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Baszler would be a fine pick. I've said that. I've championed that Shayna Baszler should be a Heyman girl for a long time. Mm-hmm. But right now is not the fit. The only person that deserves this spot, the only right person for this role is Bayley.
I don't hate it.
Turn Bayley heel. Let her run roughshod. Embrace the emotion she tapped into and revealed to us in the Chris Van Vliet interview that happened before she was written off of SmackDown, off of WrestleMania, where Chris is talking about how last year she won Royal Rumble, goes to WrestleMania, wins the title, but then kind of nothing really happens. Right. And how do you feel about that? And then she's like, oh, well, when this comes out, there's already going to be, and then she stops herself because she doesn't want to say too much, even though Chris was already like, what does that mean?
Right.
But Chris is a pro, so he dropped it. He didn't press it anymore. But yeah, so in my opinion, this is and then Triple H, I hate when he does this. I love things about Triple H and I hate things about Triple H. And when he gave some horrible answers this entire weekend. He did it on purpose. Like, I feel like he just doesn't care. But when he says, and Bayley's going to be okay, when he says Bayley's going to be okay, everybody, total pro. Fuck you. You don't know shit. It's the same as when he told us good things happen to those who wait, talking about LA Knight. And yes, good things happen to him. But bad things have also happened to plenty of people who have waited. I've said it before, and I hate getting dark, but people have died waiting for Triple H or Vince, whoever, to realize their value.
Yeah.
So don't tell me that good thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'll believe it when I see it. And the only way I'll believe it is if I see Bayley get plucked. Let's be real. This entire beginning of the year has been a waste for her. They've had her put over the new talent. She's lost to Roxanne. She's lost to the NXT championship. She lost for the IC championship. And it all seemed like it was building to a WrestleMania moment where I kind of
a heel moment, like a heel turn.
It looked like she was going to turn heel. I mean, who knows? Maybe it seems like from what the streets are saying, this was the plan all along, that the plan for Becky Lynch's return was to have Bayley be set up to be her partner, get taken out, and then have Becky come in and then lose the title and turn heel. In fact, the streets are saying that this was Becky's idea. I don't think she had anything to do with Bayley part.
Right.
I think her idea was
Lyra.
Yeah, being Lyra.
Lyra, white again.
Right.
Another white outfit. I told you, everybody wearing white.
Yeah. So I think since Bayley is in a very it's not a good position. She doesn't really have anything going. And at this point, especially with this, and you wrote her off, we don't know who attacked her. They're kind of suggesting Liv did it, which makes me think that this won't happen. Yeah. That Bayley will just come back, get a new partner. My guess is, if I had to guess right now, that let's assume Bayley comes back, gets a new partner to get revenge on Liv and Raquel. And Triple H's way of making it up to her is she gets the tag team titles, right?
Right.
The partner will be Dakota Kai in a world where Dakota does not turn on Io Sky.
Right.
Dakota and Bayley reunite, form, Damage Control again or something like that. And
poor Bayley, man.
That is what I that is what I see happening. But what I think should happen is Bayley joins this new dangerous alliance.
That also interview made me sad because she was saying, I'm not on the level of this one. It's like, dude, you cannot wrestle half of them.
And the thing that broke my heart was when she says how they'll give her an idea that she doesn't like. She will offer an improvement. No.
Oh.
She'll offer an improvement and then they just say no.
And they won't even.
And
yeah.
she says that almost makes me feel worse than if I just said, sure, I'll do it. Because now I've tried to make it better and you're just shooting me down and telling me my... Yeah. So it certainly seems like they haven't really done right by her. And the question is, will they? Or is this just how Triple H feels? Bayley is bottom 4 of the 4 horsewomen. She sees everyone else as a must prioritize. And at this point, Bayley's already been relegated to kind of the role that Natty's been in for the past 10 years.
Yeah, it's like Natty left and now Bayley took her spot. I don't like that. But I think this would be a great addition. I think she would be a perfect one for this crew.
And the thing I love most about this crew, which is why I feel so strongly that Bayley should join.
Her and Seth are like biffles.
100%.
Too? Yeah, her and Seth are really close.
They
Seth and Mercedes Moné are really close.
And you know Paul Heyman has to see the value in Bayley. He sees talent where talent is to be seen.
Right.
Also, he, of all people, can be sympathetic to the situation she's in after this weekend. I do kind of believe Paul Heyman has some say in at least who he will work with, who he won't work with. So the argument for Bayley could certainly be coming from him. But I think also as soon as this happened, everyone was very quick to compare this stable to Evolution. And a lot of people are against that comparison. I don't agree the stable will be anything like Evolution in presentation. However, it is very much like Evolution in one way and one way only. With the way Seth Rollins has been positioned and with the way Paul Heyman is positioned, not just on screen, but off screen. This guy is as close to Triple H's right hand as possible. Triple H trusts this man. He respects this man. He listens to this man. He put this man in charge of the biggest storyline WWE has done, the longest running angle they've done in the past however many years with the Bloodline, and it was a success. Paul Heyman is being applauded for that as much as anyone else. So with this stable, it very much feels like Braun Breaker being chosen. Not that he wasn't already, but this is a made man. Very similar to what happened when Randy and Batista got chosen. And that was what Triple H was saying, like, you guys are going to get hated now because everyone knows that you've been picked. You know, you're skipping the line. You're joining us. Now, granted, this is a different time. Braun Breaker didn't skip any line. Braun Breaker did his time in NXT, 2 Intercontinental Championship reigns. This is the perfect way to handle him directly after losing his championship.
100%.
But once again, this is a situation similar to Batista and Randy Orton. The only one who can fuck this up for Braun Breaker is Braun Breaker. And everything we've seen, he's got a great head on his shoulders.
Yeah, he's not going to fuck it up.
Just saw a great video of him today marking out. He could not wipe the smile away. A fan, I believe, made.
Oh, the leather jacket? Yeah.
Like, his smile was there the entire time.
He was so excited.
His voice was getting high. Like, oh my God, that's so cool, sweet. Like, even the fact that the high five. Like,
I think it's a cool moment when someone,
Yeah, and then here's just a little moment that I have to throw out because I noticed stupid shit like this. But the fact she says Nikki. She's obviously nervous. Any Nikki knows you got to spell your name if you're getting an autograph.
Yeah.
She didn't do it. He stops at the I and then double checks.
Yeah.
N-I-K-K-I? She's like, no, N-I-K-I. She could have easily fucked that whole shit up. Obviously, she was nervous. Good on you, Braun. He's a pro. He knows what to do.
Guy.
He's probably signed plenty of Nikki autographs. He knows.
He probably knows Braun is spelled 150,000 different ways. So he knows he needs to clarify.
How many people are either forgetting the second K or adding a third?
Yeah. Or just Braun, right? Is he B-R-O-N or is he B-R-O-N-N?
No double N.
The double N is from Game of Thrones.
It's double K in Breaker.
And double K.
That's what you're thinking of, yeah.
Fun.
But yeah, I'm very excited about this. I do wonder if we will be getting a new member soon, like almost immediately, like tomorrow, or if they're going to let this new alliance breed a little bit. I don't think they need to rush it, but at the same time...
They could just start building.
At the same time, there's no... I do kind of think it's best to just get in as close to that final form. So, I mean, granted, if they're going to do Braun Seth championed by Paul for like a month and then have somebody surprise them at Backlash by joining them, I get it. Totally makes sense. And it could be somebody from NXT. You never know.
Right.
But yeah, we talk about how it's how you finish. Granted, I think the Monday, the Raw After Mania was a fantastic episode.
I think it was a great Raw
from start to finish. Arguably one of the better Raw After Manias that I can think of. But I also think that it was largely in part to the fact that their finish was the perfect finish. It was the perfect way to close.
It was the perfect way to close. Absolutely.
I know we already talked about Io Sky, her defending her championship at WrestleMania, but let's talk about the match she had, the Raw after Mania. Io Sky getting challenged by the NXT champion Stephanie, and I was shocked by this. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
But I was more shocked at what happened after, where we get Roxanne showing up. That made a little sense because Roxanne had a match with Stephanie, which did happen this past week. Stephanie, of course, retained again. But what I was most surprised about was Julia showing up and seemingly turning heel on Raw.
Yeah, I just landed when that happened. I didn't go to Raw, so I just landed and I was like, oh. I was like, what is happening? I was like, there's so much happening. Because I was watching it while my friend picked me up from the airport. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, look at all that. Because he loves Stephanie.
Yeah.
As most men do. But I was just like, wow, there's
just
so
for the
much
articles. happening.
Yeah, it's just for, well, they like the name Stephanie. That's what it is.
Exactly. And the horns she wears, you know.
And the horns, nothing else.
Makes
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very surprised that they would have somebody from NXT. Like, Julia was positioned not only as a face, but it was kind of her and Stephanie had been showing respect to each other,
right?
Almost allies. To see Julia kind of become an ally of Roxanne, now become an adversary of Stephanie, become a heel. And once again, the fact that this happens on Raw, I wonder if it was just a way of getting more eyes on these girls as they, take this storyline, this angle to NXT, try to get the Raw audience to follow it, or if this is a sign that these women will be called up relatively soon, and so we want to establish a feud here.
Right. There's just a lot going on. I thought the Raw after WrestleMania, I thought this was one of the better ones in a very long time.
I normally, not even that I think champion versus champion matches are stupid, but I question them. Because normally one champion's going to have to lose a non-title match for seemingly no reason, and a champion will now, if you're a champion, you've got bragging rights as long as you've got that gold. It doesn't matter if you're the Intercontinental Champion. You can still claim to be better than the World Heavyweight Champion if he hasn't faced you. You're the champion. You beat everyone that has faced you for that title. Who's to say you're not better than that champion or that champion?
Right.
So if Stephanie was to lose this, well, now, and it's like, let's say it was the Intercontinental Champion losing to the World Champion. Well, now you can't. Right. Now it's established you're 2 champion, you're B champion, you are below. And so I never really think there's a good enough reason to establish that, which is why I always hated the Survivor Series champion versus champion.
I love Survivor Series champion versus champion. It's one of my favorites. I love it. I wish they would bring it back.
So nonsensical.
I love it.
Nobody benefits.
Everybody benefits. We all benefit.
Speaking of us all benefiting, that crowd seemed to really benefit from starting the show off with Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight Championship.
I didn't like the finish.
Yeah. Why didn't you like it?
Okay, so I understood.
You didn't think Gunther should tap out? Or?
No. But I got it where he just kept getting slammed and slammed and slammed, and now he's in this, and he's like, I can't take it anymore. I thought it was a very sloppy finish for such a powerful champ. I wasn't too excited about that. I didn't like the finish, but other than that, yeah.
Fair enough. I do think one reason this match and the finish isn't being overanalyzed that much is simply because
nobody cares because we all want him to win.
You just wanted You just wanted.
And we all knew it was going to happen.
From the second Jey won the Royal Rumble, we just wanted to fast forward.
Yeah, we were like, it's fine.
To the end of his WrestleMania match.
We're all going to be excited. Yeah.
And it's weird because a part of me is slightly worried. And the way he was used on Raw didn't quell that too much. I'm worried that he's going to be positioned, despite the nickname Main Event Jey Uso. I do not have confidence that Triple H plans to push him as the Main Event Champion. That mainly being not just about Jey Uso, but the fact that as much as we, revere Gunther's reign, he wasn't presented as the Main Event Champion he should have been either. Mm-hmm. He was a mid-card heavyweight champion, and he lost it to a mid-card heavyweight champion. And unless WWE starts positioning Jey Uso up there and starts getting him some main event caliber contenders, we saw Cena get one real quick. We'll talk about it in a sec. Jey Uso needs that type. Even a Finn Balor would be, I think a great. Finn Balor would be a great contender for him. I think.
I do have a slight problem with Jey Uso. I think the big thing was the press conference. Don't be drunk. It wasn't funny. Everybody was like making fun of it and like laughing. I'm like, it's not funny. It wasn't when you and Cody like were a little buzzed. You were like drunk and incoherent, and you looked sloppy, and like you're our champ now.
But at the same time,
nothing.
At the same time, he was the first match. What you don't think people was trying to toast him a million times?
Yeah, but like then that's even worse because it's a 4-hour show.
Exactly.
Drink and then sober up. I thought it was sloppy. I thought it didn't look like a champ
Let
to me.
the man live.
No. I was. Oh yeah, and your brother who gets in trouble all the time for drunk driving. Yes,
Jay did too. I think. I think they both did. I think Jimmy got it more, but
but what I'm saying is like that doesn't scream champ to me if you're showing up drunk and being drunk and saying silly things. It was one thing like when Cody does it, but you're incoherent and being sloppy. Like that's not a thing. And then my other problem is Jay's not very good on the mic. He's like fine. He just yells.
I think he is good on the mic, but I think right now, unfortunately, he's learning that there's pros and cons to the yeet being so over, and it's kind of changed his promo cadence, similar to what Stone Cold did for the what stuff. He didn't always cut promos like that where he lists things. I got a tequila. I got a vodka. I'm going to hit him with a chair. I'm going to hit him with a stick. What? When what got over, he began doing that promo style for that, to accommodate it almost. And I think Jay has kind of gotten into that habit. And now it's like, I don't know if Jay, like cutting up a normal promo would almost seem weird. Like he feels like he has to talk like that. It was fun getting the Bloodline reunion. I was
very happy for Jay. I think Jay deserves it, but I just...
My detective antennas was going off, though, the entire weekend before Sami showed up on Raw, because I'm like, snooping on Twitter, and I'm like, Sami Zayn posted congratulations to Io Sky. He did not post congratulations to Jey Uso. Sami Zayn.
Oh.
He posted one tweet about WrestleMania. Well, actually, no, there was two, and one showed like he was ringside, and it was a shot of the screen after Jay won, and it was that picture, and then the last 3 WrestleManias he was on, him with Johnny, him with Kevin, and then him with what did he do last year? Oh yeah, winning the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it be like that sometimes, or something along that effect.
Right.
So that seemed like a weird, like if that's the tweet acknowledging that Jey Uso is champion, that's weird.
Yeah.
And we know Jay and Sami are tight in real life, so I was thinking it was weird storyline wise. I'm like, they've been saying it constantly that they were tight. We had footage of them doing the handshake back in NXT days. Like,
okay.
What, you don't believe? You want?
There's only one person I believe
in. We'll get there. That was an amazing segue. But yeah, I think like. So when Sami came out, I'm like, oh shit, here it comes. He's turning heel. And then it was no heel turn.
No heel turn.
But do you think a heel turn's coming?
I can see it. I'd be okay with it. And then he could join with Kevin Owens and they can hug each other and fight everybody together.
Like, and here's the thing, and I know you weren't at Raw, but like when watching it, it really felt, there was a moment, so like there
was lots of pauses.
They celebrated, they hug. Jey Uso's on the turnbuckle. Sami's in the middle of the ring. Now, watching it, it kind of just seems like Sami's being Sami. He's looking at Jey with his big smile. He's happy. He's staring at Jey with pride. The pride he just discussed, and coming out to give Jey his respect and say, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. But if you listen, that crowd completely thought Sami was about to kick this man in the face. Like, Sami's stopping and staring at Jey, and Jey having his back towards him. And even with Sami smiling and looking like he was just happy, it didn't really look like he was ready to do anything, but the crowd bought in. Now, I don't know if the original intention is, in fact, a heel turn. I don't know if maybe they'll notice this and call an audible. But it wouldn't surprise me, depending on how involved Sammy is in with Jay's storyline moving forward. It wouldn't surprise me if we kind of see a trend of this. Let's say they have a tag match on Raw tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
They win. Jey Uso celebrating in the corner. Sami Zayn's either in the middle of the ring or even on the corner, close to the corner, kind of just looking at him smiling.
But isn't that a lot of heel turning? I feel like that's a lot of heel turning going on.
Oh, 100%. So much going on. I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces. There's some people sliding into face roles, though. So, certainly a lot going. But it's also heel turns and face turns a lot of time happen when a character has kind of reached a skid. Sammy really winning the Intercontinental Championship was like not the right move for him. Nothing was really going his way ever since then.
Right.
He had kind of a mediocre IC reign, lost it, and the guy he won the Intercontinental title from became champion. He didn't even get close. It's one of those things where if they were ever going to put Sami Zayn on the road to winning the World Championship, Jey Uso being champ would probably be the best shot.
Yeah, definitely. I could see Sammy taking it from Jay. I think that would be a good contender to take it from him.
If I had to put money right now, based on the way they closed it and the way I see the stable going, and if they really commit to what this stable should be, I do think Seth is the guy that takes the title from Jay. I think
Seth is going to beat John Cena's record one day.
Nah. What's Seth at now? Like 5, 6?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
Okay. But I don't think. I mean, we've talked about this. Charlotte's going to be the one to beat it.
I meant male. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Charlotte should just get the WWE Championship.
I don't think anyone's going to beat Cena now that he's beat Flair. I think that's that.
Yeah.
If they can convince Roman to hang out for the next 10 years, maybe they somehow pad his stats.
5,
But I don't even think so because Roman gets like long reigns. It would be hard for him to all of a sudden climb that ladder. Actually, but he did get short reigns before, right?
Roman Reigns gets all the reigns.
But yeah, Gunther's not taking this loss of his title well because he has choked out Pat McAfee.
That was wild.
Yeah, I loved that, and it was so random, but the crowd played their role perfectly. I love that one thing this served to do was give Michael Cole a nice moment of him saying, listen, nobody's going to scare me out of doing my job. I've been here when it started. I'm going to be here when it ends or whatever, and goes back out. Crowd, big pop, big applause for Michael Cole. Like, that was fun. That was cool. A lot of people were speculating online that this might have been done to write off Pat McAfee. It seems this might be done to write off Gunther. He has been indefinitely suspended.
Yeah.
Maybe
he wants to hang out with his kid.
Maybe he doesn't stick to the suspension. Maybe he comes in and just starts beating up people again.
He's gonna beat up John Cena.
I wish.
Me too.
And then I wish the club would come back just so they could bring back beat up John Cena because that shit was fun.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I forgot about that.
And you know what we're gonna do today, right? Beat up John Cena. Like, that was funny. Yeah. Like, people don't give that enough credit.
That shit was funny.
That shit was highly underrated.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting to see. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this in terms of a follow-up. I'm confused as far as, does he stay away? Like, is there a real reason? Is he actually being written off? Or are they just suspending him until Pat McAfee shows up on Raw and says, no, you bring that big Austrian son of a bitch back here, and I want a piece of his ass. Right. Which I could totally see. Like, when I first saw it, I was kind of like, yo, is Gunther facing Pat McAfee at SummerSlam?
I can see that. That's what I thought they were originally setting up for another match, for Pat McAfee to have a match with Gunther. Yeah. And I was like, oh, he's just going to get beat up.
I like the idea that Gunther has lost it, though.
Yeah, I like that, too.
Like,
because he underestimated Jey Uso.
And he tapped out to his own move, which, for the ring general, the ring general. Like, that's flat out embarrassing. Yeah. Like, tapping out in general, like, that's kind of why submission specialists do that, right? It's sticking it in. I didn't pin you down. I didn't knock you out. You've literally begged me to stop. Yes, you've admitted that if I keep doing this, I'm going to cause you bodily harm, if not worse.
Yes.
So, to do that in general has got to kill Gunther. haha. But that was unintentional. But to do it to your own move, yeah, like that's so. I'm glad that that's setting Gunther down a new trajectory. We are getting a new story, a new road for
Gunther,
exactly.
Yeah,
so is definitely a fan of that.
Yeah, I was a fan of it too.
What do you say had the pop of the night? Was it Jey Uso for night one? Was it Jey Uso or was it Dominic Mysterio?
Dominic.
Crazy.
It was Dominic. Jay was, I think, because Jay was expected. So like people were happy.
They paid their money,
but
to
people
see
knew
Jey.
it was happening.
Yeah, if Jay lost, people would be furious.
With Dom, I mean, he was getting booed.
Right,
when
no,
he came out, he was
right.
getting booed.
Yeah, like they did not like Dom at first,
He
and
was
then I
getting
think
booed,
and then
there was just this moment. Yeah,
it was around the time that Dom, I think, decided to turn on Finn.
When he turned on Finn, that again. Storytelling, the beautiful doing the 619 or like
Finn stopping the 619 and then like
Finn
wait,
stopped. I popped hard
Yeah.
for Finn stopping the 619. I popped so hard. I mean, even after he won, there was uproar when he won. I think he had a louder cheer when he ran back in the ring.
Yes,
like that was such a great moment. Him throwing the shirt at Finn. People in my section were like, did he just throw his shirt at Finn?
No, I was freaking out. Granted, he threw it at Penta because Penta was kind of like, no. But I was looking at it as, he threw his Finn because it was a Judgment Day shirt, and he ripped it off the second he won the title and just throws it. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, did this man just leave Judgment Day?
Really good
and then when he runs past Finn and like. Or even just when he first left the ring, because Finn was still in it. I'm like, yo, they're not even going to look at each other. This man won the title, just dipped the ring, ripped off his JD shirt, and I'm like, whoa. And then, like I said, runs past Finn. Finn's staring at him like, ugh.
I will say there was one other really big pop, but this was number one. The other one might be number two before Jey Uso. And
we're talking night one or we're talking both nights?
We're talking night one.
Okay. Cool.
Right? That was night one?
Yes.
Yeah, night one. No. I'm trying to think of what I'm about to say.
Okay.
One, but
yeah.
But yeah, this was definitely a fun moment. Like,
this was a great match.
This was a great match. Dominic Mysterio has really turned himself into the person you love to hate but love. Like, it was really fun.
No,
like,
man, he's honestly become like the perfect superstar.
His answers to things, like when they ask,
he gets the business.
Like, he gets it. When they were like, can you say one nice thing about your dad? And he was like, he has nice hair. And he's like, but your dad doesn't have any hair. And he just goes right in the camera. Like, he just knows what he's doing. Him explaining why he couldn't take the mask off.
That was brilliant. That would
He's
compare
quick.
to the mask. Yeah, like
he's
so good. He gets the business. He knows how to play along. He knows how to make things his own.
Dude, I'm so happy for him because, like, you know, he's a Nepo baby. So when he comes in, you get nervous because you're like, oh, are they just going to get... But this gimmick has been fucking perfect. It's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
Finn
was great, too. Finn is fantastic.
All four of them killed it, and I loved... I don't know who produced this match. I probably guessed Jason Jordan.
Yeah, I would say Jason
Shane
Jordan.
Helms, Bobby Roode, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe TJ, actually. TJ, I think they probably put him on a lot of the ladder
Yeah.
matches. But it was...
match.
Oops.
I wish this was a ladder
right.
match.
But no, Braun Breaker putting Carlito through that table...
Ooh, baby.
...was just...
Braun's a friggin' powerhouse.
And
I forgot to mention one thing. We have to go back for 1 second because it made me think as soon as you said the spear. People underestimate how good Roman Reigns handles offense. Like when someone gives him, like he sells so good.
Did you see the video of that?
No. What video?
There's a video I just saw today. It's Chris Van Vliet, an interview he did with Cedric Alexander like a month ago, but he just posted the clip today, I think, or I saw it today. But it's basically them talking about how Roman Reigns is underrated for his ability to sell.
Yeah.
And how the moves the moves he takes, he makes the person look like $1 million.
We forgot to talk about that because we were talking. We got excited about Paul Heyman, but like Roman Reigns, like really, he sells so well. And during that entire match, he was just so good at selling. He was good at selling on Raw. He was good. Everything was just so good. He sold
the hell out of that GTS last week.
He sold so good out of the GTS. I was so happy, and I know we glazed over this too, but CM Punk, like after the match, he sat there and he was like, "I fucking did it," and it's like, you main evented. Like cool. It was a great match. I will say I do not like his theme song, and especially live. It was
whose theme song again?
CM Punk's. I don't like that theme song.
You're stupid. That's a great song. That's a great song played
Dude,
by a great.
People singing his Kill Switch old theme was wild.
That was awesome.
That was so awesome.
That was cool.
We skimmed over this because what I say about
right. Another thing about like the Braun Breaker pairing means that if they do this right, we're gonna see Braun Breaker probably.
I hope they spear in the air and flip.
Like Braun Breaker's not gonna be positioned as the guy that loses. While Seth is being built up to feuds. Braun Breaker is going to be built as an unstoppable muscle that Seth and Paul were lucky enough to get. So I think it's very possible we see Braun Breaker get big wins on CM Punk, on Roman Reigns, maybe an Orton down the line.
Yeah. But it was very, Braun Breaker, that entire Intercontinental match was so good. And everybody just did their part. I do not like Finn's finisher either. But you know how I feel about that.
Yeah, but I loved the finish of Finn having it in the bag, and then Dom coming from there. Yeah, and then Finn kind of cost himself because Finn stopped Dom from doing the frog splash, but he left him up there and left him in perfect position to hit him. So I love that. I also like that we got Dom's first title defense. I was a little scared that he'd be losing it to Penta next night, but no. Also excited to see the return of JD.
Oh, yeah, that was exciting. I figured I was a little scared, too, because I remember you texting me about this, but then
the curse of Zack Ryder,
When Becky and Lyra lost, I was like, Dom's fine.
Right.
I was like, they're not going to do it to two people.
Right.
I was like, we're fine. So, but yeah, this was a really good match. Penta's so good.
And interesting to see the story they're telling here because it seems like everybody in Judgment Day is truly happy for Dom. Except for Finn. We had our suspicions that when JD did come back, and for the record, we don't actually know that he's back.
Right.
We know he was in Vegas. He was in Vegas for WrestleMania. They did not have him. Yeah. He barely did anything. He got a little involved on the apron, put his hand on someone, but he didn't take a bump. So I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see him.
JD's such an odd pairing in that crew, but yet he's worked.
No. Now he's the made man.
No, now he's the made man, but he was, when he first came, we were like, what?
But now as the Iron Lung, love that nickname.
Yeah.
Love that jacket.
His jacket, so sick.
Yeah, so now as the Iron Lung, with such a badass nickname, I think he's a made man. I assumed he'd be loyal to Finn, and I assumed he'd kind of feel how Finn felt, but it certainly felt like JD was happy to help Dom, thought there should be no qualms about it, and Finn almost looked surprised. What are you doing? I didn't know you were coming here. So once again, I'm curious to see if JD's able to start traveling, even if he's not cleared, so that we can get him back with the crew. I think they've been missing him.
Right.
Also interesting to see where they go with this, because once again, a split is happening. Right. But neither, the fans obviously loved Dom after he won the title, and Monday Night at Raw was no different. They were all about Dirty Dom.
Right.
I do feel like we've reached a point where Dirty Dom can't be heel anymore, and eventually they're going to have to make a switch. But his character is so defined. It's like he was carved in stone. You can't go back on the things he said to his dad, and he hasn't. He won the title, and he was still saying, best Mysterio alive.
Yeah, he's a deadbeat.
Yeah, he was even talking about, someone asked him your favorite food to eat. He was like, oh, well, back in the day, my deadbeat mom, before she was my deadbeat mom, made some great, this and that.
Chicken tendies.
So, no, not chicken tendies. It was a Mexican dish. Yeah. But either way, and everything he's he still is acting heelish. I don't think he's going to stop. I don't think he can. The only way a true Dominic Mysterio face happens is if Rey Mysterio turns heel.
Right.
That switch has to happen. Yeah.
Has Rey Mysterio ever been heel?
Not in WWE.
Oh my God, we're going to get John Cena heel turn and a fucking Rey Mysterio?
All before GTA 6.
Oh my goodness gracious. Did you see that thing with, I think that guy Chris was interviewing Chelsea, and they were like, people talk about that Chelsea Green and Penta match.
Yeah, I saw that.
On Lucha, and he was like, rematch? And she's like, no.
No, we're done. We're done.
That match was great. I forgot about that match.
That match was so good.
I love Lucha.
I forgot.
Lucha Underground is so good.
I forgot that, and granted, she was different body type back then, but I forgot that Penta hit her with a chop.
A big chop.
Big chop.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, how'd you do? And I watched it, no boob hit. He nailed
chest.
100% nailed chest. I don't think you could do that today on Chelsea.
No.
Would not go well.
No way. No.
But real quick before we move on, I thought Dominic Mysterio was an amazing selection to win the Intercontinental Championship. We
Definitely.
both, I think, were we agreed? Did we both pick Braun? I picked Braun.
You picked Braun. I picked Penta.
Penta?
I picked Penta.
Right. So either way, we knew
But
there
we
was
also,
a chance.
We also went in being like, I'm okay with any of these people winning.
Yes.
I was like, anybody who comes out of this champion, I'm totally fine.
So I'm very happy. Like, and we talk about it all the time. COVID era was like when he started wrestling. It wasn't like we saw clips of him training for 2 years. Like they put him on TV when he was just getting in there, gave him his first match on like a whim. Like, you want to try? It's COVID times, bro. We're really letting anything go. Yeah. And he's gone on. He's just, it's so fast.
It's I love it.
Yeah.
But is it fast? It's been 5 years. It's a long time.
But how many people can we look at what they've done in 5-6 years and it'll be nothing compared to the fact that this guy's been the biggest heel in the company for how long? He's held 2 mid-card championships now. He has been in one of the most popular and over heel stables. One of the most popular relationship angles. 2 of them, depending on, you know. Speaking of, before we move on, Bayley was in that interview, and this is heartbreaking, but she was talking about all the things she wants to do. And once again, she knew she was being taken out. And people had also been asking her around this weekend, since she wasn't taken out yet, to talk about Bayley and talk about Raquel. And she's talking about Bayley's my little sister and this and that.
Lives her little sister?
Yes, fucking A. Yeah. Lives her little sister. She then says something about what she still wants to accomplish in her career. And she says, well, I want to do everything. I want to be a heel. I want to be a face. I want to be in a stable. I want to be in a tag team. I want to be in a relationship angle. Does that make you think of anybody? Because Liv Morgan has done literally all those things in 20. Yeah. Is it 2025 or no?
2024, 2025.
Yeah. Since in this year, she has done all those things. She's gone from face to heel, taken over a stable, become a relationship angle. She's been champion multi-times. Yeah. So I'm not rushing to jealousy or anything, but I'm certain that as she's finding out she's getting bumped and she's watching her little sister achieve all these things and she's watching herself somehow get pushed down the ladder while they're moving up, I'm sure there's certain feelings that she's going through.
Yeah, of course.
And that's another reason why I really hope she gets that spot in that stable. Fingers crossed.
Definitely.
Dom definitely had the pop of the night for night 1. I think night 2 might go to a certain someone. I'm scared to say his name. I don't want him to show up. Yes.
It was funny because we glazed over mentioning Joe Hendry on Randy.
We mentioned it.
We mentioned it very blasé. Like we were just
it could be Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
It could be Matt Cardona.
Yeah, we were just saying all these people. The fact, I'm going a little like behind the scenes right now. I won't name, but somebody we knew who it was going to be, and they were like, "Get ready, big pop," and I got my camera out, and I was like, "I don't know who it is," and I think this was the perfect pick. A big pop. Everybody was excited about it. Like, I remember after this match, this ridiculous, silly, fun match, I texted you and said, Joe Hendry just wrestled Randy Orton and took an RKO at fucking WrestleMania.
2 of them.
2 at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like, what a pop this guy got. I mean, Randy played into it. Randy turning around and doing his pose in the zoom in. I was fucking dying.
Yeah. And I loved that WWE released the footage like close up so you can hear what Randy's saying when he's doing the, when he's doing the respect nod.
Yeah.
Where he's like saying, listen, you did all this. Yeah. You did this for me. I appreciate that. Like, that's some real shit. I kind of thought when just watching it and not being able to hear, he was just saying, look at how much these people care about you.
Did you watch the video? I think I sent it to you, or you sent it to me, where Joe Hendry was talking about like when he found out he was going to wrestle, like a week before.
Yeah.
And he goes and he just sees it and he's like, what? Imagine like Randy Orton. And then it's like, a lot of people were like, oh, but they buried him. He's the champion. But I'm like, dude, this guy just wrestled Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
Bro, so I was watching this with my friend May, who's not a wrestling fan.
Right.
And when this happened, and this was the first time he had seen me do this, this is probably the only time I did this in night 2, I believe. Mm-hmm. I got up, like I'm jumping in the air, screaming, holy shit, repeatedly, top of my lungs. I am marking out, people. Mark out moment for sure. He is scared shitless. He's like, "Yo, you good?" like what the fuck? I'm like, bro,
This is
man,
a big deal.
No, I literally explained, I'm like, this man does not work for this company.
Yeah.
Like, he's a TNA wrestler. He's like, oh shit, I see you, TNA champion. I'm like, yeah, bro, the TNA champion is facing Randy Orton right now.
Right.
Like, on paper,
wild.
On paper, this is one of the most iconic matches to ever take place at a WrestleMania.
Wow.
Randy Orton's 20th anniversary is against the TNA heavyweight champion, who, mind you, was one of the most over and got probably the pop of the whole weekend.
Right. And like what's wild too, I love Pat McAfee being like, if Randy wins, does he become TNA champion? It's like, yo, Pat
he should put something up. He should be on the line.
He should be like, but Randy also had the retro trunks of his debut.
That
which
was
I thought
nice.
was
That was a
cool
great
too.
touch. Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a pop. We all knew what was gonna happen.
Right.
We all knew it was gonna be a 2-minute match. This man was gonna get RKO'd. Like we knew all this was happening, but who fucking cares?
A part of me wants to complain about the TNA heavyweight champion being beat solely because he chose to taunt and you know get out of the zone.
But he's excited. He's at WrestleMania.
It's WrestleMania. Exactly. Right? It's got the ultimate WrestleMania asterisk.
Right,
He let the moment get better of him. There's no shame
in that. What a big
in
deal for him. Like what a pop.
And
like
the fact
this man has gotten over. For people that don't know,
No.
like this man got over because of a song, because of his theme. That's how he originally got over, and then it's just his personality and everything with it.
I searched his name the other day, and I found a tweet popped up from 2019 where he was announced as being a new signing of Ring of Honor, and some schlub tweets, "Oh, you mean the most boring wrestler to ever come from the UK since," and then he throws somebody's name out. And it's like, wow, this fucking tweet aged like milk.
Yeah,
because
seriously.
Boring is the last word I would use to describe Joe Hendry.
I don't think
Inspirational.
I love him.
I mean, I can't help, like, you cannot help but love watching this man succeed and accomplish his dreams, because we've seen people try this. We've seen people get over organically, naturally on their own. And then there's always, it seems, somebody trying to stomp it out.
Yeah.
Somebody trying to take it away because they did. But the beauty of him doing it while working for the little company that could, TNA, is that, like, there was nothing stopping him. Like, anything he did for them, they were going to love. And I certainly think there's an argument to be made for Joe Hendry, Jordan Grace too, the argument's there, but being a big part of WWE wanting to partner with TNA in the first place.
100%. It was wild too, because when I think of it, like, I knew like that song was getting popular and stuff like that, and I remember going to NXT last year in June, and there was like a little rumble, like a battle royal, and Joe Hendry came out, and everybody was singing his song. And I'm like, everyone's singing this man's song, and he's not even he's not even in NXT. Like, this is wild how over this man.
Like, he and kids love it. It's super catchy.
It's ridiculous, but it's so fun. And he's also so likable.
I think I even told you that I was DJing and it was late and we wanted people to leave, so I was just trying to play stuff to get them out to leave. So I'm like, fuck it, let me just play the Joe Hendry theme. That did not work. Of course, did not work at all.
It's like playing the Bobby Roode Glorious song.
They started clapping, started dancing, getting into it.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's not how it works.
No.
But what a pop, man! Everybody was so excited.
And what a moment! What a moment.
It was so fun.
Yeah, and I'm so happy for Joe Hendry. It's beautiful to hear him talk about Triple H, telling him.
Triple H is the one who called him,
yeah.
Can you talk?
Yeah, which is crazy also.
Wild.
And then he was thinking it was going to be about WWE World because he was doing appearances for them and stuff.
Right.
Which is probably why he was number one on the list. Where they're kind of like, well, listen, we could go with, like, I'm sure they were talking about other options, but if they already have business dealings with Hendry for that weekend, it certainly, and it was a very smart decision.
It was genius. What a pop for everybody.
And it's just, like I said, I love watching this guy accomplish things that nobody thought he could.
I love Joe Hendry.
And for Triple H to say this will be the easiest WrestleMania you ever have. Oh yeah, there will be more.
Yeah.
Like, granted, it just lets you in on exactly what kind of relationship WWE and TNA have.
Yeah, they're canoodling.
Yeah, like
really
TNA's
canoodling.
basically a feeder system, because it's one thing to do trades. You know, I'll send you NXT talent, you send us TNA. Jordan Grace, gracefully left TNA, walking right into WWE, which TNA had set her up for.
Yeah.
Joe Hendry, whenever his contract is up, clearly will be leaving gracefully and riding right over to WWE. As far as where is Randy Orton going after this amazing moment?
To my bedroom. Oh, nope.
To John Cena.
What's number 222? What's that?
That's how many matches they've had. 221. No, I'm making that up.
Oh,
they've actually had.
I was like, what?
They've actually had 21 matches, so it really is number 22. I thought of being a bit dramatic.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
But yeah, it does appear that.
I wish you sold that and just let me roll it down. You're like 222.
I mean, it's kind of believable, right?
It's 100% believable.
I mean, if I went through all the house shows, I'm sure it probably is around there.
Yeah, it's probably around there.
No way if they only wrestled 21 times in their fucking life. No. But yeah, Orton Cena for what we assume will be a final time.
Perfect. You think Randy's gonna take it from him?
I don't. Only because it's happening so soon.
Oh yeah.
I would buy in if maybe SummerSlam was in St. Louis instead of Backlash.
Dude, wild. Dude, what is happening in 2020? 2025 is a wild time. We have
Go, hop up.
Come on. We have John Cena turning heel. We have John Cena and Randy Orton facing each other for a championship. What is happening?
Willa, move that leg.
How is this on our bingo card?
For all audio listeners, by the way, the reason me and Danielle are together is because I am dog sitting my parents' puppy. Willow Danielle is a great helper when it comes to giving additional love to puppies.
Yes.
Willow has now made her presence felt and is trying to kick me off the living room couch.
So we had to move. Hey, don't push him.
She's still trying to kick me off, and we will persevere.
She's like, talk about Orton, please.
But yeah, it's hard for me to buy into Cena winning the title at WrestleMania, such a big moment, only for them to drop it to Randy Orton, which that would have had to be the original plan.
Right.
Because I think they 100% knew. I think we were set up for if Kevin Owens was able to wrestle, it certainly seemed Randy Orton was going to beat Kevin Owens, probably hit him with the punt.
Yeah.
Certainly seemed like they were heading down. That would be a big enough win that him coming right after John Cena would make just as much sense. Not that Randy Orton needs a reason, but a big win at WrestleMania would certainly set him up.
Oh, yeah. This is exciting, though. I like it.
Yeah. This feud's getting hot.
I want that hoodie. I love Randy Orton hoodies.
It is a good Randy Orton hoodie.
But I want that one. I'm going to buy it. Like, I don't have 15,000 fucking hoodies, but I want that.
But yeah, I do think this is going to be a good one. But also, just to go back to what I said about my fears with Jey Uso, Jey Uso's obviously not main eventing his first pay-per-view as champion.
No.
That's not happening. And
he's going to co-main event.
And in fact, I'd be willing to bet Jey Uso will not main event a single pay-per-view as champion unless Cena misses a pay-per-view. Unless Cena doesn't use, I think he said he has like 19 dates left or whatever.
He should do Survivor Series, and then they can do champ versus champ, and then he can main event.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah, pretty girl, right? She likes that idea.
We already kind of spoke about the New Day War Raiders match. Well, no, we're not going to talk about this, but we will talk about what New Day did the next night.
Kissed everybody.
They did not kiss everybody. In fact,
that was my pop of the weekend. Triple H and HBK kissing.
Oh yeah,
that was my pop. I popped so. I was like, and then they
when we posted that, I literally said, "This is clearly Danielle's moment of the weekend. It's not even over." Yeah, that was so funny. They definitely have touched penises.
Oh, 100%. 100%. By accident, on purpose. Sitting in a cup chair, 100%.
Since we're bringing up the Hall of Fame, I have another minor. Well, since you mentioned, I have another minor conspiracy theory. Would you like to hear it now, or would you like to see if I remember to tell you afterwards?
No, put on your hat. Okay. Ooh, I like that. It makes noise.
Yeah, I know my hat's
Mine's
crazy.
more crinkly, and like because it's like tinfoil. Go ahead.
So, and once again, guys, this is a big time conspiracy theory. This is big time tinfoil hat here, or is it tinfoil, aluminum foil? Tinfoil. Okay. So
aluminium.
I was thinking about the Bret Hart Stone Cold Award. You know, that I was thinking about the fact that it kind of just felt like the announcement randomly happened like a week before. Whereas normally I feel like it would have been, if it was a plan, it would have been announced in the past with more time. Normally there would have been, at the very least, the dirt sheets, the streets would have been talking about a new addition to the Hall of Fame. There have been talks about adding a new award or anything. Keep in mind, they made an effort to, they didn't do a celebrity inductee this time.
Because they suck. Cyndi Lauper, come on.
Right. So I'm thinking about why they would choose to do this and why randomly, like a week before. I hope I'm wrong, but in my mind, and listen, I think if I had put money right now, I'd say the next match to go in is probably going to be HBK Taker.
Or HBK and Razor Ramon.
Maybe, but I think it'll be HBK Taker.
Yeah.
Triple H, HBK, and Undertaker are very much, Triple H is running the show. But
right.
yeah, like they're all kind of like, this is very much for the boys. So I think they'll go next. But eventually, I think a match is going to have to go in that involves someone that WWE is desperate to use despite the fans telling them not to. That man is Hulk Hogan. What if WWE invented this award knowing that eventually The Rock and Hulk Hogan will get chosen to accept this award, and them thinking either Triple H setting up The Rock to be part of a moment that's just going to be complete horseshit, or them setting Hogan up to actually be assisted by The Rock and try to like just sweep it under the rug and make people forget again that they hate this guy.
Wow, that sounds awful, and I hate everything about that.
Yeah.
Take that hat off. I hate it. I hate it.
Going back to what the New Day did, the Raw after Mania, they cut a heel promo. They were confronted by Alpha Academy, Akira and Otis.
I love Otis.
And
I stand for Otis so hard.
Me too. And I get so sad that they continue to waste not just the potential and the talent he has, but how over he maintains.
He's so over. He comes on the screen,
Yeah.
people pop.
They do nothing to get. It's all Otis and Maxine and Tozawa.
The three of them are great.
So I got mildly excited, like, oh shit, this is a great spot for them. And Maxine cut a great on the way to the ring promo. Great promo for her, boys. And that's exactly what all three of these needed.
Yeah.
A good promo by Maxine on behalf of them, setting them up to get in this position. But it was to be interrupted by a holiday that we haven't celebrated in years.
I celebrate Rusev Day every Christmas because that's his birthday.
But it's not on Christmas anymore. It's every day.
Every day is
It's
Rusev Day.
today. It's Rusev Day.
Very underwhelming return.
Yeah. Those
Like,
I believe were my thoughts exactly.
It's very underwhelming.
I'm so happy to have him back. But here's the thing. The brief promo he cut backstage for WWE's YouTube got me more excited about his return
100%.
than his return. Where he said, it's been 5 long years since Rusev's been here. And now I'm back to take take what's owed to me. Everything. Great. Perfect. That's a beast. A beast I'm excited to see return, and I'm excited to see what happens in Rusev's future. However, the Rusev that comes out randomly during 2 tag teams confronting each other, only to randomly attack the face tag team for no real reason. Like, I was very like mad. Like that was and it was just, and we've seen this exact scenario.
It could have been a better return. Like,
but this is what I'm saying. Like, we've seen this copy and paste before in WWE's past, where they have someone who's returning from an injury, maybe he's a new signing, show up, the fans are excited to see him, but they don't really know if he's a heel or face, but they're cheering, and then there's a heel and face in the ring, and then boom, they surprise us by going after the heel, or the face rather, and oh, yeah, you're not supposed to like us. But with Rusev, the fans didn't really care. They didn't really boo. They were too happy to see him.
Yeah, they could have done this.
They still love Otis and Tozawa, but this didn't help Otis and Tozawa. Rusev was getting cheers. Rusev, they were happy to see him. Of course, the Throw After Mania crowd. But then if you see Rusev, he's getting the crowd into it. He's hyping him up. He's telling them, get loud, get loud. So I'm not getting a heel Rusev.
So
Clearly.
which one is it?
Yeah, and why are they intent on making this guy a heel? I have never seen someone that the crowd has wanted to get behind more.
Do you remember Rusev Day with him and Aiden English? They never pulled the trigger on them, and they were so white hot, and they should have been shared.
It reminds me of Elias, because we used to always talk about how these guys, Elias and Rusev, had the 3 shirts as the top sellers.
Yeah, I have a Rusev Day shirt.
Yeah. And it's like they just don't care.
Yeah, they're stupid.
So seeing Rusev get brought back for a mid-card feud, my guess is tomorrow he'll get a squash match against Tozawa. That'll set up a match next week for Otis. It won't be as much of a squash match, but he will get a decisive victory over Otis. And then we see what's next. But once again, I hate Rusev being portrayed as a heel. Not that I hate Rusev as a heel, but he should be a babyface.
Yeah.
You make him as a babyface, he gets super over just by showing up.
Yeah.
Everyone's chanting Rusev
He could just
Day.
be a badass face.
Yeah. So I hate that they insisted on doing that.
He should have beat up New Day.
Feuding with a mid-card tag team that they also haven't really done anything meaningful with, despite how over they are. Like, none of this excites me. It's kind of just...
Fight with New Day. Be like, I like Big E, fuck you. And then beat him up.
And it also goes into, like, you look at Andrade. No WrestleMania match, wasn't on Raw, wasn't on SmackDown, not really being used. He recently returned from AEW because his run in AEW didn't work out. I personally think Rusev killed it as Miro with AEW. Everything he did was money except for like the beginning when he was plugging his gaming channel and stuff. Yeah. But like everything he did, like it was amazing. His I don't want to say a feud with God, but that was as close as we got to one.
Right.
And so like, but once again, that didn't work. And so I worry WWE looks at these guys less than somebody like a Drew, where he leaves, makes himself this champion, chooses to come back to WWE because WWE wants him, whereas these guys choose to come back because they're in the same position they were in when they wanted to leave WWE.
Right.
And so now they want to come back. And so I don't think Triple H feels a sense of urgency to reward them with anything.
That sucks.
Despite the fact that it's not like these guys left. If I remember correctly, I think Rusev was actually released.
No, Rusev left.
Oh, he did leave?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay. I thought he was a part of that like mass releases during COVID, but I could be wrong.
I don't think so. Super funny.
Yes.
I
love super funny.
I mean, I think it's funny. When we were
Don't doubt yourself.
When we were going into WrestleMania, I was like, Jeb, is this gonna be the first time you see John Cena wrestle? And she's like, no, I've seen John Cena wrestle live. I was like, you have? She's like, yeah, remember he wrestled that guy that came out on a tank. And I was like, oh yeah, Rusev. I was like, you hear that, dog?
I love Deb not knowing names.
It was weird because Deb, the first WrestleMania Deb ever went to was WrestleMania 30 when Daniel Bryan won. And I had to explain everything to her because she's never watched wrestling a day in her life. And then she was constantly coming to wrestling shows with us. She's fallen off a little bit. She still remembers people. But like, it's weird. Like, this was the first time she's ever seen CM Punk wrestle for WWE. She didn't even know who CM Punk was. She just knew the chant. So it's so weird to explain to her because she has been going to wrestling shows with us for so long. But there's definitely a disconnect because like she came at a certain point and then she kind of fell off a little bit. Like NXT, she doesn't know any of the people from NXT.
Yeah.
She knew Ethan Page and Jordan Grace.
Right.
That's who she knew.
Right.
And she knows Ethan Page because of Evolve.
Because of you.
And because of me and my
Because of you. She could have never gone to a single Evolve show. Just having conversations with you about wrestling, she would have known who Ethan Page was.
What do you mean? Like I love Ethan Page or something?
That's what they tell me. That's what the streets are saying.
I love Ethan Page. He's my favorite.
Just once again,
I'm sorry
very excited,
in your ear.
very excited to see Rusev back. And I'm very here's the thing. Like a part of me is confident that if Rusev gets over, if Rusev remains over, if the people, and we do, if the people remain allowed for Rusev, I don't think Triple H is going to throw that away. That's the difference between Triple H and Vince.
Do you think Lana's going to come back?
Lana is being promoted as his real life manager now, not kayfabe manager, real life manager.
Because they got back together.
And she recently, and while Rusev re-signed as a wrestler, she actually just signed a Legends deal. So I don't think we'll see her back anytime soon. I think there's always, given the fact that they are together again in real life, professionally and romantically, I think there's always that option. And given the fact that WWE's working with her in some capacity, whether it's to make an action figure, put her in a video game, whatever it is, that there's always that possibility. I don't necessarily see the demand for it just yet. I would say that if they want him to actually be a heel, she would have been a great addition. But at the same time, I don't know, because the last Lana we saw was herself, kind of. She had dropped the accent. She was no longer the Ravishing Russian. But when
Ravishing Russian is perfect.
When I think of heel Lana with heel Rusev, I think Ravishing Russian.
WrestleMania 31.
Exactly.
When I cosplayed as her, that was the only time I could ever get away with that. Because I could never cosplay as her now. Nobody would get it or understand it or appreciate it.
Right. Nobody would.
And it doesn't work. But it was so good at that.
That was such a great one. Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. I was very uncomfortable in those high heels. Never again.
But yeah, I thought Rusev's return was a bit, as you said, a bit underwhelming. And honestly, that's kind of how I felt about Aleister Black's return on SmackDown as well. Except the entrance and the music.
Theme song.
Yes.
That song, I forgot how good that song is. It hit and I was like, yeah.
Right. I forgot that they took it away from him when he was on the main roster. For some reason, I thought he still had it.
No,
I forgot that they really took it. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
It was Code Orange, right?
Yes.
No.
So I very excited that he's got the entrance back. Very excited that he's got not just the theme, but the grave coming up. I've always loved that.
Yeah, I like Aleister Black a lot.
But here's the thing. No, it's just that they actually hyped this. They promoted this with teaser videos. And if you didn't know Aleister Black had left AEW and the streets had basically confirmed they were coming to WWE.
That's gonna be our new shirt. The streets are saying.
The streets are saying. That's a good one.
Done. I'm making it.
But if we didn't know that he was coming to WWE, basically, we wouldn't have actually watched those videos and said, I think the videos didn't really do anything to tease Aleister Black.
Yeah, they could tease anyway.
They were cryptic.
Right.
Now,
but not fun cryptic.
Well, there was a snake. There was it looked like a creature. There was hands and nails. It wasn't his.
Yeah, that could be Mark Henry's a strange son.
There was stuff lit on fire, and some of it's he's got candles. He's got candles as part of his entrance and stuff.
That could be. Who has candles? I couldn't think of anything.
He has candles as part of his entrance. So, that's the only part that really, draws to him. But other than that, so, when I'm seeing these teaser videos and we're being hyped that he's showing up April 25th, in my mind, I'm expecting to see a new Aleister Black.
Yes.
An evolution. I wasn't even sure he was going to come by himself.
Yeah. Who do you think he was gonna come with?
I didn't know. I thought maybe NXT people. Yeah, I thought it seemed the video. Once again, the videos.
Dark State would be good for him.
Right. The videos kind of felt come on up. The videos kind of felt.
She's please be done.
It was leading to something big and mind changing, and not just leading to, by the way, Aleister Black showing up. And so. Rusev, there was no teasers. There was no promotion. He just randomly shows up in the middle of a tag team confrontation and decides to start beating people up. With Aleister Black, there was legit teasers. There was legit time and effort and energy and money put into promoting, all for him to interrupt The Miz. Very similar to the way Rusev kind of just comes out.
Kind of like Miz.
Miz is talking, and then Aleister Black comes out, lays him out, which is great, and I'm happy to see him. But he's not being presented in a way where you look at him as upper mid card, they're bringing him in as a big,
He's just there.
Yeah, normally debuts or returns on Raws or SmackDowns after Mania. It's a big spot, it's a big position, and it's treated as such. When Bobby Lashley came from TNA and rejoined WWE.
That was exciting.
Right. When he came in, you knew shit was about to pick up. You're like, oh, fuck, Bobby Lashley's back. And big things did pick up, not necessarily at first.
Yeah.
But still. So, I just, the Aleister Black, I was expecting more. And the fact that it was literally the same exact Aleister Black, no change in sight, at least yet.
Yeah.
Maybe we get some changes as we move on.
Maybe.
But right now, it's kind of just so. I almost felt like I was sold a bad bill of goods, where I was more excited. They got me more excited.
Yeah, than it actually executed.
Right. But once again, happy to see both Rusev and Aleister
Yeah, I'm
Black,
happy
and
they're
hopefully there
And I
are.
hope they're happy they're back.
Yeah, but it is another one of those things where who's losing a spot, right?
Yeah.
Like who's losing TV time because these guys aren't coming from NXT; they're coming from another company. So it's like if NXT call-ups still happen as they should, more spots.
Yeah.
So hopefully they find ways to use these guys in a very meaningful way without taking too
Aleister
many.
Black was so good in NXT.
So good
Remember in NXT? I mean, he's good on the main roster, but in NXT, like,
yeah.
so good.
I liked him and Ricochet as a tag team, but we didn't understand why they were together.
Remember when they did the flip? Was that
That was Ricochet.
Mustafa Ali too? The three of them. Remember they did that move and they all sat cross-legged?
Yeah,
that was fun.
Mustafa, Aleister, and Ricochet.
Ricochet,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was dope. Oh wait, we talked about that already. Zelina Vega, speaking of Aleister Black.
Wow.
Holy
Did
shit.
that. Yeah, I was very surprised on that. That caught me off guard.
See, I kind of had a feeling they might do that only because it was kind of felt like they were trying to make this SmackDown After Mania like
Unpredictable.
well,
and
no,
no.
like I felt like they wanted to kind of make it up to the people that didn't get Mania matches. So they had been building up the Chelsea Green Zelina feud, but they didn't build it up to get her a match at Mania. They, we even talked Zelina Vega's number one contender, but they haven't defined when it'll be.
And Chelsea didn't get a Mania match.
And she should have.
Yeah.
So I think, despite the fact that Chelsea Green obviously had to drop her title here, I think they kind of wanted to be like, okay, you guys, like, let's give you the, you're going to make SmackDown, you're going to be a big talking point. This is your Mania moment. Sorry that it happened a few days later.
Right. It's still a good. I thought it was a good SmackDown ending, bro.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about Chelsea. Obviously,
she's so over. People love her.
It's not even just that how over she is; it's how good she is.
She's so good.
She's been doing this for so long, and she's been like she got it from the mud, like from the ground up. Like Chelsea did not have anything handed to her, despite the fact that she's been an amazing, like she showed that she can work with guys in Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
She showed that she's obviously beautiful, and she showed she can talk. She showed she can connect with an audience. She showed she can evolve and do different type of angles and gimmicks. The hot mess.
Right. I love the hot mess gimmick.
Yeah, she showed it repeatedly, and it still felt like for some reason it was easy for companies to deny her.
Right.
And it never made sense at all.
She's fine. She deserved that title, but she also, she'll be fine.
She will be fine. I
think this is a good boost for Zelina.
I went on record as predicting a face turn for Chelsea and the Secret Harvest by SummerSlam, and I do think she would look pretty damn good with a briefcase.
Ooh. People want her to win a briefcase.
Right. And so, and now here we are a year removed. She's the first ever U.S. champion. They can't take that away from her. So I think she's certainly in more of a better position than she was a year ago. And if you remember, despite being a heel, the fans were getting loud for her to win.
Oh, yes.
So once again, I think the smart thing to do is turn her face. But, oh, God, Zelina Vega has deserved this for so long. Like, Zelina Vega was good in TNA. Zelina Vega was good when she was playing AJ Lee in a movie. Zelina Vega was good the second she walked into WWE, and they told her for the longest time, we want you to be a manager.
Yeah.
She killed
it as a manager. Her and Andrade were fantastic.
Yeah, she killed every single thing they asked her to do, and majority of the things they asked her to do all had one thing in common. It was all making others look better. It was elevating others, and she did it all with a smile on her face. She got over as fuck for that big match at Backlash.
Yep.
And I think an argument could have been made that they could have pulled the trigger there.
Yes, 100%.
But
she hasn't been women's champion, right?
No. This is the first title she has ever won, held in WWE.
Not counting Queen of the Ring.
Right. But championship, I should say.
Championship,
yeah. Though Queen of the Ring, they botched that too.
Yeah.
I blame it more on being during the COVID era. Just the fact that they botched both King and Queen. Like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, Zelina Vega, very excited to see her as the United States champion. Can't wait to see the next, how she has those, she has those entrance things like the
wings.
Kind of, yeah, for lack of a better term. I can't wait to see the next wing she has. I imagine she's got half Puerto Rico, half USA.
That'd be cool. I like that.
That'd be dope. But yeah, congratulations, Zelina Vega. Congratulations, Tiffany Stratton. You have slayed the beast.
So this was the pop of that one. Because people were so happy that Tiffany won because people were scared.
Oh, so wait, you said this was number 2. You said
Number
Dom
2.
was 1, this
Dom
is
was
2.
1, this is 2.
Interesting.
Because, except there was one guy behind, like, diagonal from us that kept screaming the whole time. He was like, come on, Charlotte, you can do it. And everybody was laughing in our section because he was so enticed on Charlotte winning. But this, when she won, there was an uproar because people were so scared that Charlotte was going to win. This match was very sloppy. It didn't look as bad sometimes, but it looked like they were just mad at each other.
Yeah, I mean, and let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Charlotte's role in this as the heel and as the veteran and as the loser was to make Tiffany look as good as possible. It was to elevate her. Charlotte clearly had no interest in doing that.
No interest.
That was not her priority.
It was very sloppy. It was clunky. Like, one of my friends was like, oh, Tiff keeps missing her spots. And I'm like, yeah, she missed some spots, but she didn't miss. I feel like Charlotte, it was messing her up a lot. And it was like throwing her off and throwing her momentum off. It was a very wonky match.
Yeah. And it also, it's interesting that it's such a hot topic. The Netflix show WWE is going to be doing in the summer where they like take you backstage and like into the writer's room.
Yeah.
Well, because we don't know what Charlotte was told when she won the Royal Rumble.
Right.
We don't know what she thought in her head, what she had reasons to think. We don't know what Tiffany was told. The idea that champions and challengers aren't told who's winning until possibly the day of or night before has always seemed weird to me. Like, there should kind of be a plan in place. If you have a story you're starting, it should kind of be like, okay, so we're going to do Charlotte and Tiffany. Plan is Charlotte's going to put Tiffany over.
Right.
Big win for her at WrestleMania. Like, that should have been explained to both of them from day one.
Yes.
So, and I think that also played into the competitiveness that we saw get escalated to levels that were kind of uncomfortable to watch happen on live TV because perhaps both these girls, women, felt legit threatened by the other. Tiffany said it flat out. I don't know if it was an interview or a promo. I'm the champion. I think it was an interview actually talking about that chaotic segment. But she's like, listen, I'm the champion. I want to stay champion. So I'm going to do everything in my power to stay champion. That might have been truer words than we even realized, where, you know, Charlotte's trying to make her look bad. Charlotte's trying to make her look like she can't handle herself. Charlotte's trying to make her look like she shouldn't be champion. She'll never be the next Charlotte. She'll never be, you know, the it girl that they're trying to make her out to be. So, yeah, I think Charlotte has legit issues with Tiffany. The streets have been saying that Charlotte was cursing at Tiffany after the match. I hope
that's not true.
Even though people were saying, like, I'm not sure why Charlotte would be the one mad because Tiffany's the one who had a chipped tooth. Tiffany's the one who had a bruised
she didn't have a chipped tooth. Unless they fixed it right away.
I think they fixed it right away.
So? Oh, okay.
I think, well, either that or she already has fake teeth.
Right.
Like, it's very possible that got chipped, like in gymnastics, and we just never knew, right?
Or like that's just a lot of them have. A lot of them have what is this called? Veneers.
Veneers, yeah.
Like Roman Reigns needs to like dirty those up because they are way too bright.
You know whose veneers I love, and it's probably just because I love her. Harley Cameron.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Walton Goggins.
Fuck, I hate those. That guy's teeth is so distracting.
They're
love
fake.
him. Yeah,
well,
no shit.
They got knocked out when he was like 13 from a baseball game. They fixed them and then they got knocked out again.
They look like actor teeth that should be modeled as the Goggins special.
Yeah, they're definitely actor teeth.
But no, I think that I think like because I've noticed it more since she does the ventriloquism. So she's doing the smile whenever her puppet is talking, and I'm like, damn, she actually has those are some good veneers.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny when you start seeing like the Road Rules Real World Challenge people. You know they got the money because they all start getting fake teeth. They all get veneers.
Yeah,
all of them.
We joke about that all the time. It used to be women got fake tits, men got fake teeth. Now they all get fake.
They all get fake teeth.
They all get fake teeth.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like Tiffany also like going back to her forehead was fucked up even on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So
it was a lot.
So it seemed like
it was
Tiffany
a very clunky match.
Tiffany would have been the one complaining or mad.
Right.
But everyone's saying that it was Charlotte.
That makes me sad because I really do love Charlotte and I try not to get too mad when they constantly throw her in the championship, the title picture and stuff like that, because she is one. We say it all the time.
Oh,
she's
fuck.
What?
Oh, my God.
What happened?
That's it.
What?
It's not Bailey. It's Charlotte.
It should be Charlotte.
I'm not going to lie.
no.
It's going to work.
It's going to work.
But it shouldn't be somebody that's already, what are the, how many times she held the championship?
14, I think.
You should not be a world champion if you're being considered for this role, even if you are in the women's division. Even though Bailey and okay.
Wait, you think she's going to join Seth?
Yeah.
It would make sense.
Because they need to do something with Charlotte desperately. They can't keep, like obviously they had her lose to Tiffany, so they can't just escalate her to the championship. They're not. I fucking pray they don't just feed Io to her.
Right.
And they haven't. They haven't.
Maybe they want to get her U.S. title and then the women's title.
No, they need to give her stories that are not championship motivated, which is going to be strange. Right. Paul Heyman does.
That's true.
That might be it, guys.
She gets drafted to Raw and then becomes the woman.
It might be Charlotte Flair, and honestly, not for nothing, like Bailey would be good in the role, and Bailey would be good for every reason I said.
Yeah.
However, in terms of a believable woman who's going to play additional muscle for Seth, for Paul in a stable, including Braun, Charlotte fits that bill.
Right, definitely.
Jade Cargill would also fit that bill, even though I don't see her getting that spot. Mm-hmm. Very surprised, just as we got Stephanie and Io on Raw after Mania, we got Tiffany and Jade Cargill SmackDown after Mania.
That was fun.
It was fun. It was better than I expected it to be based on what happened at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, let's not skip past Jade and Naomi at WrestleMania because, messy match. Right, exactly.
That messy match.
And I thought Naomi did great. I thought both
Naomi,
women did a good job.
Naomi carried that entire match.
Right.
Naomi's so funny.
Right. Naomi's crazy.
And it's not against Jade. Jade's just still getting used to WWE wrestling. And she's still, for what it's worth, semi-new because she never had like long-term matches in AEW. She was more like a powerhouse that just came in and destroyed everything.
She was a Goldberg.
I was trying to.
She was a Ryback.
That's exactly what she was, yeah. Yeah, but a more likable one because I actually like Jade Cargill.
Cut the shit.
Right. No, I like her. So yeah. But yeah, it was this match. Yeah, it was a little clunky.
But that's what surprises me about the fact that
then they just
because Tiffany and Charlotte had a bit of a clunker, and while I do think Charlotte had a big role to play in that, at the same time, Tiffany's not perfect, and Tiffany's the newer one, so you would think she might a little stigma might have rubbed off on her,
right.
And then with Jade being new and relatively unproven in singles matches, and then that match doesn't get the best reviews, to put both Jade and Tiffany together, where both of them have kind of been put up strategically with people who are going to make them look good.
Right.
They've both been set up for success that way. These women were both thrown in the deep end for this match, and I do think they delivered it. They got a fun 8 minutes.
It wasn't bad. I think Tiffany proves that she should be champion and that she's very talented. And I think when she's with people that complement her well, she can really put on a great match. Yeah,
I think it's wise to not be done with Jade and Naomi for a few reasons.
No, this was just probably just a throw,
I mean, it's good to keep that storyline going. Also good to keep Nia Jax coming for the World Championship, especially after her getting bumped for Mania. Streets are also saying, and they're referring to clips from that WWE writer show, but apparently the original plans for Mania, Nia Jax was going to be revealed as Jade Cargill's attacker. It was going to be Nia and Jade at Mania. And then the fans got involved saying, no, it's definitely Naomi. No, it's definitely Bianca. And then they decided, okay, we got to choose. And they went with Naomi, and Naomi's killed it.
I think this really elevated Naomi to the next level of storytelling and execution. I think it's.
But not only does Nia lose out on a Mania match that she has more than earned, but she also loses out on a whole ass story. Right. Granted, that kind of makes me think does that mean that Naomi wasn't even gonna be on Mania? Please don't tell me that.
It's weird where the pieces fall.
Where it would have gone, yeah. Right. But very, very excited to see both Nia and Naomi. I kind of hope this becomes a 4-way feud and they're all going for the title because I think that kind of is a big win Tiffany's going to need. Yeah. Speaking of a big win, Jacob Fatu is our United States champion. Yada mean? He's so good.
I love him.
He's so good.
I love him.
And
Great. We can talk about this now.
all right.
We can talk about this. Haku and Jimmy Uso abided by the 2-minute rule.
Very respectful.
Very respectful, waiting the 2-minute rule. As everyone knows, I have a strict 2-minute rule. You become new champion, the person has to wait exactly 2 minutes before entering the ring. That way, the now champion can get that picture of the ref holding their hand up, them holding the belt, just them and the ref, and they can zoom in, just be them. You don't need to be doing that shit and jumping in. Haku didn't even jump in the ring like a good person.
Yeah.
He didn't even jump in the ring. He stayed out. He jumped over the barricade.
He did jump over the barricade.
Doesn't matter that he jumped, but he didn't go in the ring.
No,
he didn't go in the ring.
And I absolutely love that.
The Judgment Day didn't run in to go down. Like Liv didn't run down there. She obeyed the 2-minute rule. Jimmy Uso obeyed the 2-minute rule. He didn't even go in. Was he in there?
Jimmy Uso was in the ring when Jey Uso had already left the ring.
He already was.
Jey Uso was on the table doing his celebration.
Beautiful.
And then Jimmy was in the ring.
2-minute rules abide.
Yeah.
I love
Haku was my favorite.
Haku
because I remember all of a sudden he was there, and I'm like, oh shit, Haku's there, and then
we're like,
oh yeah, he just jumped. He was not supposed to.
But he didn't go in the ring.
Right.
Like a good brother.
Also, bro, your son, who mind you visited in jail, and now you're visiting at the end of the ring as he just won the championship at WrestleMania. Right. Nah, bro, no barricade's gonna keep that man in his seat.
Especially Haku.
You go there, you give your son a hug and a kiss.
Especially Haku.
Yeah. Before we move on, Jacob Fatu has 3 challengers, it seems now. Granted, LA Knight did technically, I think, become number 1 contender because he beat Drew McIntyre by disqualification. But Drew, and I love this. I'd love to get your opinions also, but Drew McIntyre making it clear he doesn't want to, he's not coming after Cena's championship because Cena's a punk. World Championship, I get it, but no, I want the baddest champion here, Jacob. So I want you. I love this. Love it.
I love that. Yeah. Cena's a punk. I love that.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't want to do that.
And also, not only does it make sense with Drew logic, which we've also come very accustomed to.
Oh, I love Drew logic.
But it actually makes perfect sense in general. Like, Cena is already talking about how 18 more dates and I'm gone. What, you're gonna fucking try to subscribe to that list? Like, no.
Fuck that, yeah.
Yeah, and he is a punk. So, and Jacob Fatu is the baddest man in WWE. One thing I found interesting was Solo basically cutting a promo saying he is the reason Jacob's champ, causing Jacob to respond. And Jacob's response was interesting because he basically repeated an entire promo.
Right.
And I was kind of like, wait a minute, did this man just cut the same promo? And then I realized, oh, wait, no. He's basically turned this promo into a series of catchphrases.
Yeah.
Where he basically says, you need to get in where you fit in because I'm all gas, no brakes. You know,
I feel like that's a gimmick from a movie somewhere where he's like, are you just saying catchphrases?
I mean, I feel like it's probably just from like him growing up. I feel like, I feel like people just say that. Like he probably just says that with the people he grew up with and his friends and family, all gas, no brakes, coast to coast.
Yeah, I just feel like
I'm America's most. I'm a menace to society.
I feel like there's a movie where he's just saying catchphrases the entire time while he's talking to him. He's like, are you just saying inspirational things? And he's literally just quoting inspirational things.
Yeah, I vaguely know what you're talking about, but I can't place
I don't know where it's
from. To me, I feel like we're going to continue this. He's going to continue saying this specific phrase to Solo. You need to get in where you fit in because I'm all gas, no brakes. And that's going to lead eventually, of course, to Solo getting in Jacob's face.
Yeah, and then Jacob's going to kiss him and then
getting in Jacob's business, turning on him, and putting the brakes on the rise of Fatu.
And we don't like that. That's not going to happen.
Maybe.
He's not going to like
Maybe
that.
the long-awaited Hikuleo comes out.
Maybe.
But either way, I'm so excited, so happy for Jacob Fatu. And it's just, he's shining like a star. Did mention Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest going for the U.S. Championship. Danielle, what'd you make of Drew getting the big win at WrestleMania against Damian Priest?
It was fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was a fine match. You know what I was thinking? Actually, during this whole entire match, I kept thinking I kept thinking, man, it's been a while since we did our predictions and we automatically say Drew. Because remember, it was like, obviously Drew is winning this match, and this was the one where we did say Drew, and Drew did win.
Yeah. Damian Priest did not waste any time getting his lick back, though. So we're seeing. I
really like Damian Priest.
He's really good.
He's really good. I was happy Drew needed the win. Drew definitely needed this win, and it was something that's been building up forever. And I'm glad he got the win, but it didn't hurt Damian Priest, which I liked. So this match was definitely fun. These guys are hard hitting, and I'm just so happy for Drew McIntyre.
And I'm looking forward to an LA night, Jacob Fatu, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre feud.
They don't need to be in the main in the heavy what was that championship? The WWE championship. I almost said heavyweight.
Right. Well, no, I mean, and that's another thing that Drew's little scene as a Punk. It kind of goes to elevate Jacob and this championship a little bit more, right. So other big name contenders will come straight for Jacob and kind of ignore Cena. Maybe we get Orton and Jacob. Maybe Orton says, you know what, Cena is a Punk.
Definitely.
Let's talk. I know you hate talking about him, but we got to talk about the Logan Paul AJ Styles match.
Pee break.
Did you take a pee break?
Everybody did.
No way.
The arena emptied out. Yeah.
Wow.
This was the pee break. This was the pee break match.
Wow. I'm not gonna lie. That's
wild. That AJ Styles is in a pee break match.
That's just that's petty.
This match wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be because even though I hate Logan Paul, I thought he would really bring it, and I didn't hate this match, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. But everybody got it as soon as AJ Styles came after his music hit and everybody sang that awful theme song. And he came in with the stupid drone and all that. As soon as the bell went, everybody got up and went to the bathroom.
The thing with this match
isn't that interesting? It's weird thinking AJ Styles has a pee break match.
So nuts. But the match was all about storytelling.
Yeah.
Whereas with Logan Paul's matches, the draw is the spots, the virality, the big elbow drop through a table from the inside to the outside, the moonsaults from the inside to the outside, like those big clips that everyone's gonna rip and post over and over again. Those are the draws of the Logan Paul match. The fact that this was storytelling and then Karrion Kross getting involved and AJ Styles just obsessed with being a good guy for no reason. They kind of, it was a bit of an overbooked finish.
Yeah, it was a little sloppy.
I don't know about sloppy. I wouldn't use
sloppy.
sloppy.
I'm not using it.
Overbooked.
Overbooked. Yeah, that's a great way of saying it.
I was happy that they got Karrion Kross there.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm glad we saw him.
But
I'm glad
people got up. This was all right, bathroom time, and everybody got up because everybody hates Logan Paul.
Yeah. What'd you make of Becky Lynch's return?
I mean, we all knew it was going to be Becky Lynch. So it wasn't really... This match is just a head scratcher for me because I don't get the Lia Valkyria thing.
Yo, they are insistent.
They're throwing her. They're jamming
they
her.
Are.
And I like her.
Yeah, she's good.
She's good. She seems very humble. She seems very nice and all this stuff. And she is good. She's progressed very much because a year ago when I was talking about her, I was like, oh, hell no. You know what I mean? But that's fine. But they're really cramming her down our throat. And the Becky thing, you texted me this, and I agree with you. I wish they didn't show her showing up at the Hall of Fame, Becky, because I think this would have been a better surprise. Even though we all knew it was going to be Becky, I think it would have been a little bit better.
No, 100%. I feel very strongly about that.
No, I agree with
that. If this is what you're booking, we hadn't seen Becky. Right. Becky recently had been on a show, and she said, no, I don't wrestle anymore.
Yeah.
So all they had to do was lead us to believe she wasn't in town. It wouldn't have been hard.
Yeah.
All I had to do was not see her at the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Let Seth do his own thing. Let him sit with anyone else.
Right.
And I think it would have been a much bigger surprise. I think they genuinely would have been shocked. But essentially, we saw Becky, and then everyone was like, oh, Becky's there. That's fun. And then Bayley gets written off the next day, and we're like, oh.
Yeah, it's Becky. Yeah.
I mean, Big E wasn't even trying to hide. Big E doing the pre-show is kind of like, well, there might be a certain person, a countryman or a countrywoman. So
yeah, it wasn't very big spread, but it was. Okay.
We get a heel Becky now, though.
We get a heel Becky. They lost immediately, right after, because all I kept thinking is we're having Becky and Lyra face Gigi Dolan and Tatum on Tuesday.
That felt weird.
That felt weird to me.
That felt weird. Yeah. And the truth is, I think Liv and Raquel are perfect as champions right now. 100%. I've got a couple people in mind for who I think they could lose it to, but I think right now, like it's better to just keep the belts on them. Also, and I feel very strongly about this. I hate it when somebody wins a title and then somebody in their group who has a title loses it the same day. They do it all the time.
I know.
And then it's like they didn't do it with Damian and Rhea, but then Rhea got hurt, so it happened anyway. So as soon as
weren't they tag champs too? Finn was tag champs, right? Weren't they tag champs too? It was like Finn and it was like Rhea, Damian, they were tag team.
Yeah, they all had the gold. Yeah. So I like that Dom, Liv, and Raquel all have gold again, especially since we kind of are seeing, a bit of a civil war in the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
So yeah, just very. I'm excited to see Liv and Raquel as champs again. I'm excited that Becky is a heel again. I'm curious if Becky takes Lyra's title though.
Yeah,
I can't see them having Lyra go over Becky. Like,
it wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know. I think it's too soon for that. But you're right. They're pretty relentless with her.
They love her. They're so obsessed with her. I'm like, she's on Mania for not even her title.
Yeah. So crazy.
So weird.
We got to talk about the Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner real quick. Well, I did explain to you that because of the fact that Bronson, I explained to you my theory. That since Bronson was the winner last year and had an amazing 2024 going in, like he was killing it, I think a big WrestleMania moment would have been in his future this year had he not gotten hurt.
Yeah.
So Carmelo winning does mean something to me. It does mean that I think we do, and we think he deserves a lot better. This is a year he's been on the main roster, and we have not seen a glimpse of the Carmelo we saw in NXT. We've not seen a glimpse of the true him. So I'm excited to see him get back to that. However, that Andre the Giant chain Miz gave him was silly looking.
That's so silly.
So silly looking. We did see Fraction make their SmackDown debut. You saw Fraction in NXT lose their titles to Hank and Tank.
Yo, that match was so good. Again, I watched it with Deb, who doesn't know any of the NXT people now, and she's like, that guy Frazier. And I was like, I know, he's scary good. Faxion, both of them are so good, but that match was so fast and so good. Hank and Tank are so good too. Like, that match was so fun. Like, at one point, I was like, these guys are dead. I was like, everybody's dead.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this match is unbelievable.
Fraxion is really good.
They're insanely good. Like, insane.
For like a team that was kind of just put together.
Yeah.
With everyone eyes peeled for the breakup simply because they were kind of just randomly put together. And here they are, one of the few NXT acts, assuming this was a call-up, one of the few NXT acts that gets to stay together and get called up together.
And they had their own, like, debut separately, one with Penta and one with Ray.
Right.
So that was cool.
And a lot of people were thinking maybe Nathan would be part of Seth's stable since Seth trained him.
I mean, I don't hate that. But that match was so effing good. That tag match was,
a lot of people have said Austin Theory should go back with Seth.
I can't handle all the hotness in that.
Well, Paul, that's what Paul's there for, to even it out.
Paul and Braun are there to, like, even it out.
Whoa! You're throwing Braun in the ugly pile?
Yes.
Wow.
He looks like Scott Steiner.
Scott Steiner? You mean Big Papa Pump? You mean Freakzilla?
Yes, I'm very attracted to someone nicknamed Freakzilla.
It's because he keeps the freaks up all night. Come on now.
But like Seth and friggin' Austin Theory there, oh boy, I can't.
Oh, also just real quick, since you brought up Scott, Braun Breaker, Scott Steiner, the guy you just brought up, his uncle, Braun Breaker doing Steiner math.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic.
That was amazing. That was easily that's probably my favorite promo happening off, like not on a show.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was so good. So brilliant.
It's so funny. They pushed Braun Breaker because I was like, oh, this guy is definitely going to be like a semi-nepo baby too. But he works.
No, he's a freak of nature.
He works, yeah. I like him.
And the fact that I remember for years, like while he was in college, wrestling accounts or whatever would always talk about him the way when he was playing college sports. Because he was Scott Steiner's nephew, because he was Rick Steiner's son. So a lot of time it seemed like he would actually go to the NFL.
Yes.
And it was always kind of talked about wrestling being what he wanted to do and backup plan, but we'd see where we go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like he's a freak athlete. He has great promo skills when he breaks them out. His matches deliver. His spots are just second to none. Those spears, he throws them in. Yeah, Braun's a freak. What did you think, Danielle, watching your boy Ethan Page fall to Ricky Saints?
It was okay. I knew he was. We knew that it was going to be Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints. I love the Tony fumbled. They continued into stand and deliver. Tony fumbled. Ethan Page is so good.
Yeah.
Ricky Saints is so good, but man, Ethan Page got something special. He gets his gimmick so over. He's so talented.
And guys, if you're still with us, we're well over 2 hours at this point, so there will obviously be 0 TNA predictions for their pay-per-view tonight. But we are the heel marks. We're hoping that Ethan Page takes it home. Are we? Do we want Joe Hendry to lose it to Ethan Page? I kind of think it would be cool.
I think it would be cool.
I think it would be really cool, and I think Joe Hendry would be safe.
I think it would be a good slap in the face to TNA for how they ended things with Ethan.
Right.
Page.
Like it would be very poetic. Granted, it probably wouldn't be the best thing for Joe Hendry, given it's the first thing TNA fans see since watching him lose to Randy Orton. I think you can sell that losing to Randy Orton is no big deal at WrestleMania as long as you don't lose your next match and lose your title in it. So I do think he should retain, but we can't not root for Ethan Page.
I always root
especially for that poetry.
I love Ethan Page so much.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a fun match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, a good opener. Perfect opener.
Probably not as fun as...
Dude, the ladder match was killer. Deb kept saying this was her favorite match of the weekend.
Yeah, this was a fun one.
She said this was her favorite match. I know you predicted Sol Ruca. I thought all of them were fantastic. I think everybody had a spot in their moment to shine. Ladder matches are so fucking fun when done right. Because I hate ladder matches when they're they put the ladder and they're not climbing up. There were some spots, though, I was scared. When they were landing on ladders and falling off things, there were some matches where I jumped a little bit, but this was really great.
Yeah.
This was a really fun match.
No, 100%. Quick shout out to Thea Hale. I get impressed with her every time. And she's so young. She's 21. And I feel like we've been watching her for so long already, and she just continues to improve. Speaking of Thea Hale, who is ready for a new semester at Chase U? Because it seems Chase U is coming back.
I love Chase U.
We back, baby.
I love Chase U. They're so fun.
So fun. So fun. Not that fun was the way this tag team match, the Dark State versus the D'Angelo family match ended, or should I say the way the D'Angelo family has ended.
But I will say, this was super. This was a crazy match, but the Tuesday after, the NXT after, when Stax is with Luca and they're all talking, I was I'm so invested in this storyline when he was well, you know why I called you out here. And he's oh, fuck. Yeah. And it cuts off and you're you're did he kill Luca? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like Luca's going to show up as a heel, somehow Stax turned him. But there might be a funeral.
Oh, man. Stax just be killing everybody. And then the scene where they're in the hotel room.
He'd be murking food.
He's be murking. You're supposed to keep it in the parking lot. Keep it in the parking lot.
I'm not going to lie. This is a bit heartbreaking, not just because of the great performances of everyone and them making me, feel the emotions of a family betrayed. But I always say this, I really wanted the D'Angelo family to make it to the main roster as the D'Angelo family. I truly enjoyed the stable. I thought the Don gimmick could have easily been bad. Tony D'Angelo killed it. He's an amazing actor. It's probably why he's getting acting roles now.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see the family get called up. Who knows? Maybe the family will get back together on the main roster. Maybe we'll get that one day. But I was really hoping that they wouldn't get split up in NXT.
Right. But
with that said, we are getting cinema. We are getting a movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So get the popcorn ready. Let's give Stephanie her due. Defeating Julia, defeating Miss Parker, defeating Jordan Grace to retain her women's championship. Stephanie's for real.
Oh my God, she's so good. All of them were good. This match, Jada Parker, man, they really I I was afraid she was going to get lost in the shuffle because she's dealing with 3 dominant women. Absolutely not.
She was my pick to stand out. She knew she had to come correct.
Yeah, definitely stand out. But Stephanie, man, she's great. Jordan's great. But Stephanie, freaking so fantastic. That's another Tony fumble, man. She's so talented.
100%. I do wonder how much longer Jordan Gray stays in TNA. I'm not TNA, in NXT. Because it does feel like they're not going to, like, I don't see her becoming NXT champion soon, but they've already had her go for the title. So it's kind of like, okay, you can get away with that in NXT, but you can't make a trend of it. So if she's going to have a longer stay, we now need off the title stories for her to tell.
Right.
They can do that, but it's draft season, so I kind of think she might just get drafted soon. Let's talk about the main event. This is your match of the weekend?
Woo! My match of the weekend. This match, first of all, nobody was rooting for someone over anybody else.
Yes.
Everybody was like, whoever wins this match, we all win. Like, everybody was rooting for Evans. Everyone was rooting for Trick. Everybody was rooting for Obafemi.
And even though Trick has kind of become a heel,
it doesn't matter.
I still liked that response.
Right.
I like that.
Doesn't matter. Everybody loves it. I will say, I have to shout out Deb again. Deb made me crack up the entire time. She's like, what are they saying? I'm like, they're saying whoop that Trick. She goes, oh, I thought they were saying Wolf Patrick. So literally I called Trick Williams Wolf Patrick the entire weekend.
Nice.
This match, I mean, this wasn't a triple threat. This was a 4-way because DA fucking blew her. Mm-hmm. Like, the ref fucking kicking, fucking being like, fuck you, getting knocked out. Like, everything about this match was so glorious. The first minute into the match, Javon Evans leaps about 20 feet in the air. I was like, whoa, what is happening? Like, there were no losers in this match, and there was no losers in the audience because everybody enjoyed this. This match was fire. There was no lull. There was no, like, there were such close near falls that at one point I was just like, oh my God, imagine Javon Evans takes this right now. Like, it was one of those moments. Or like, oh my God, is Trick taking it back? Are they calling up Obafemi? Like, is this happening? It was just so fantastic. Deb was so excited about Obafemi's entrance. I was like, dude, you're about to watch people like an army. Yeah. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's a fucking cult. The way they're like, why he comes in and he just walks in like this.
It's crazy because we talked about what a risk it was to turn Trick Williams heel.
Right.
But Obafemi has stepped right up in that place.
He's
top
so
babyface.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that whole match was beginning to end. I was immersed in that match.
Is just...
Yeah. I will say, so apparently there wasn't enough seats sold in the top, so they were moving everybody down. So they put us behind the entrance, so I couldn't see the entrance screen. And the way we were also, the lighting blocked the camera, so I could only watch the ring. So sometimes it was hard for me. So when they were on the announcer side, I couldn't see anything, which got very frustrating sometimes. So I had to like ask people what was happening, and it was very frustrating to watch. I will say that, like, shame on you, T-Mobile Arena, for that, because like at least put me in a seat where I can see the TV, because like at least I could see what was happening. Like, I could only watch the ring, and I was so far from the ring, I couldn't see the ring.
Yeah, I probably have this ranked as top 3, like number 3 for my top 3 favorite matches of the weekend.
But top 3.
Right, but it's so close. Like this one with Seth Punk Roman
I was so involved. I was so into this match. Like, I was so invested in this match. Yeah. I love all 3 of them.
NXT producers are really good when it comes to the planning the end of a championship match. Right. Great false finishes, great desperation moments, great moments where the crowd really doesn't know what's about to happen. And as you said, D.A. Brewer proving why he is the best rep in the business. Last thing we got to talk about, Joe Hendry.
That was so amazing.
Showing up, calling Trick a little bitch, and says, I'm here for the champ.
Yeah. She's like, I'm not here for you.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So I guess that's another reason why it would probably make more sense for Joe Hendry to defend tonight, because it looks like these 2 champs have unfinished business, even though Oba said, be smarter than Moose was. Don't make the same mistake Moose did.
That was amazing. I was fiending for that Moose and Obafemi match. And it delivered.
Yeah. So, I mean, very excited to see the WWE's following up with Joe Hendry's WrestleMania appearance with showing up in NXT. Also interesting to note that during Miz's promo, he mentioned Joe Hendry. And the streets have been saying that there was supposed to be a Joe Hendry Miz feud on Raw that Miz would have won. Now it looks like we might be getting a Miz Joe Hendry feud on TNA.
So wild.
Yeah, what a time. What a time.
What a time to be alive.
Craziness. Guys, we have been talking our heads off
Woo!
and your ears off.
Now we gotta go watch wrestling.
We're going to leave it at that and go watch the TNA pay-per-view. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in every single week.
Thank you guys so much. If you mother effer, if you don't already, follow us on all social media at The Heel Marks. We are everywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember, we're not just smart marks, we're heel marks.
We're not just smart.